The other old guy from Jersey.
So some movies will not work with certain players.
Like Roseanne Barr taking the lead on 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh jeez.
Oh my God.
I don't want to see that.
What was that? East of Eden?
Right.
You switched those two roles.
Well, that was Rosie O'Donnell, wasn't
Right, that was Rosie O'Donnell.
Same fat, disgusting.
You know, honestly,
bulbous
one
head.
movie that was really terrible was The Flintstones when Rosie O'Donnell had people.
What about that one where she played the
one with
retarded
Rosie
girl on the
O'Donnell.
bus?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The one on the bus?
A League of Their Own?
No, there was one where she played a retarded kid on a school bus.
I thought all her roles were retarded.
Yeah, really.
No,
No,
that's
no.
just her opinions.
Imagine Rosie O'Donnell in the movie Showgirls.
No, I can't imagine that. It's disgusting.
What pole on earth would hold her?
I don't know.
That's a way to kill your career.
Maybe Poland.
Oh my God.
Elizabeth Berkley killed her career with that movie, didn't she?
Yeah, a little bit.
She was hot in that too, though. Unfortunately, it was a
Yeah,
bad
she
movie.
was.
But
Well,
she
no,
was
that's
hot.
not what killed her career. Her career went down because she's like, all right, now I'm done with trying to just look pretty for my roles. It's like, yeah, that's the only reason we like you. Stop.
Yeah, you're a terrible actress. We just want to see you naked.
I'm so excited.
Do you guys feel bad for Melissa McCartney that
No.
she lost weight and they don't hire her anymore
No.
because of that?
Melissa McCarthy?
She's working enough. Don't worry.
Let me tell you, they're not hiring her because she's not talented.
I think she's pretty.
I think
funny.
I think she's funny. I think she's
I don't
funny.
like all of
I
her.
think she's comedically funny. I don't know
I
about
do too.
on
Some of her
stage, but
stuff-
she's definitely like
definitely
Adam
okay.
Sandler's. He's not funny on stage, but he's funny. And
See, I don't like most Adam Sandler's movies.
How about Jim Carrey?
I love Jim Carrey.
I like some of his movies, like Liar Liar. I thought
Liar.
was brilliant.
I
He
love
doesn't
Liar.
do anything
Mask.
anymore. So
Mask was great.
There was an article, and I think it was in the Hollywood Reporter, about how his career is done.
Well, because he's done.
Yeah.
He,
Well,
he
he's-
exposed everybody, and then now he's trying to
Yeah.
flip back the other way. It's
Yeah.
too late.
He's
they're
just
saying that he lost his mind a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
number
Definitely lost his
23.
mind.
He didn't lose his mind. He was exposing stuff.
Yeah.
and himself. No,
A little bit of both, but yeah.
I liked him in the series movie Majestic. That was
Yeah,
great.
that was-
I liked him in Me, Myself. Well, you know what? I didn't like him in Me, Myself, and Irene.
Renee
As
Zellweger.
much as I liked the
midget.
kids.
The kids were great.
kids were
My-
great.
Three kids were phenomenal.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
kid from Old School.
Melissa McCarthy.
Anderson and,
Yeah.
I could take her or leave her, but I tell you what, I give her
I
credit.
definitely leave her.
I liked her in the movie St. Vincent's.
Yeah.
St. Vincent with
That was a
Bill
good
Murray.
movie. That was a good
she
movie.
played a really good role. It was a straight role as like the mother
Unlike
of the kid.
Paul.
And she was good in Bridesmaids too. Bridesmaids was a funny movie.
Some of her stuff I like. That one where she was a spy was so
I mean,
stupid.
Ghostbusters was stupid.
Oh, with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
Nobody watched that
Well,
movie.
you see, that helped to kill Melissa McCarthy.
Well, that's what I think happened.
She was good in Bridesmaids, right? The original first thing she
Yeah.
did, right? Bridesmaids was
Yep.
the first one?
I
Oh,
actually.
that's the first
He
one.
likes him, Mike
the
and
first one
Molly.
anyone noticed.
You liked.
Oh, Mike and Molly was a great show.
Yeah, you loved it.
I thought it was great. I liked her in Identity Thief with Jason Bateman.
Yeah, that was really
Jason
good. I like that
Bateman
one.
reinvented himself for these movies he's doing, right? Like
Yeah.
Horrible Bosses and all that stuff.
That's true.
Well, no, he stopped working purposely for a while, and then he came back with the Arrested Development.
Yeah.
And then he
Arrested
started doing
Development
movies.
was the best show ever. If you got it, it was
Arrested
awesome.
New season coming out this year.
And this season they're actually putting. Remember the last season on I think on Netflix, right?
Well,
They-
Jason
one
Bateman-
character on each episode. This
Yeah.
time they're putting them
He's
back together.
actually got another thing going on called
Ozark. That
Yeah.
was
That's a
a
good
phenomenal
series.
show.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
Dave,
I
what
only
was,
saw previews. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Dave,
Dude,
what was the one
watch
that-
it.
What was the one you were watching, Dave, that you said everybody, it's going to start again?
Black Jesus.
Black Cheese, yeah.
That was supposed to start. Actually, no, this weekend I think.
Is it? Okay.
I have to double check.
'Cause I remember when we had Larry B. Scott on, he was saying
Yeah.
that he was going to be.
I gotta check that when I get in tonight.
You know what I just got done watching? Dave told me to watch it. I didn't get done, but I caught up. It's only season 2. I'm dying up here on
Love that show.
Showtime.
Yeah, that's supposed to be
dude.
really good.
If you're a comic and you say that doesn't hit you some way or another,
It hits
you're
me in
lying.
several ways. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that better than Crashing?
yeah.
I don't know about better, but it's
yeah.
totally different.
I haven't seen Crashing. I heard it's good. What
like
is that
Crashing.
I
about?
like both of them.
Artie Lang's career and a guy that leaves his wife. No, it's in it. His character is him in it, but it's
Yeah.
what's his name? Pete. I can't remember.
Pete Holmes?
Pete Holmes. Yeah.
Pete Holmes, trying to be a comedian. He's leaving his wife.
He's starting over again as a comedian.
Yeah.
It's like him starting.
I know
over.
that's a Judd Apatow thing.
Yeah.
That's why Judd Apatow's been at the store all the time over the last year and a half.
Like he cleans the comedy club, trying to get 5 minutes on the stage, and he's boxed in the corner, and they don't let him on the stage, and he's trying to do this. And
Man,
do
they
jobs.
haven't done that
But
in years.
the character,
You know, they did that
the character
Broadway
that's
Comedy
loosely-
Club last week.
The character that they loosely based it on is Comedy Pete, with the guy that wears the Hawaiian shirts in the city.
Yeah, Pete
Oh,
Burnett.
Pete Burnett. I couldn't remember the last name. I knew you'd remember when I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he stole his ideas. So.
Well, Pete Burnett doesn't wear shorts.
Yeah.
So there. He wears Hawaiian shirts and khakis. It's
Yeah.
a different look.
Definitely a different look. And no flip flops.
But because of that, because people know him from that role and all the barking and everything, like he's been Amy Schumer runs up to him and like starts hugging him on the corner. He has like pictures all over, you know, because all the comics know him from the guy that just barks for his spots all the time over there, and he's pushing hardcore over there.
That's funny.
Hardcore, huh?
As an older guy, it's it's a lot harder when you're sitting out there till 1 a.m. hoping to get your 5 minutes for 3 people.
Yeah,
That's
because
true.
you know a lot of these clubs now over 35 and
you're done.
So what do you guys think about the Chip Cooney thing?
Which
You know, I did a little spot on that.
The America's Got Talent.
The guy completely stole his magic act.
Like,
really?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Was his name Mario?
I didn't see the clip, but I heard about it.
I watched the
I watched
clip.
both.
He
yep.
did magic, and it's something about hitting somebody with a fish. That's
when
all I
they
know.
say identical, I'm saying like it was identical. The only thing different was the outfit.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
he did the exact same act with the whole tissues and just all the goofy bad magic tricks.
They didn't
that
call him
Chip
out
Cooney-
on it?
Oh,
I would sue
well,
him.
we're all
Here's
sharing.
the killer. Howie Mandel was sitting there.
Did you call
Watching.
him out on it?
And he did not only did he not call him out on it, like Simon Cowell and the other girl both X'd him, like to shoot him out, and Howie Mandel didn't. And he was
Wow.
at Chips's performance.
Yeah, I
And
don't
it's funny because
understand
they
that.
wanted to X him. Well, the British guy wanted to X him, and the other two let him in.
Goddamn British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he made it.
The British guy,
Well,
Simon
I
Cowell.
don't know if he
no,
made it.
Chips Cooney did. I'm saying to the next level, but I think this guy didn't. But the fact is, he copied it,
Well, I would say
Yeah.
if I was
and
Chips,
it's the
that's a
same
lawsuit.
program. It's ridiculous.
Lord knows he needs the money. That's for sure.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, he probably can't afford it.
It goes to show you they're probably not even watching these people.
He's living
Yeah.
in a managed care place near Fallon, New Jersey, and one time he got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and he changed all the calendars to like different season, and then all these old people got up and thought it was like December, but it was 100 degrees out.
That's-
He went around the whole place and changed every calendar.
Oh, he's funny, Chips.
Yeah.
I love him to death.
I love Chips. A great
I
dude.
feel bad
really
that
is.
that happened, but that he needs to get. I would get a lawyer if I was him.
You have to have money, don't you? What
No.
lawyer's going to say, hey, I'll do it for 33%, you stole some comedy
They may
act?
do, they may do it for
because it's on,
you know,
it's on
for
national
media.
TV.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Outside the
They make
Grizzly
those
Pair with
attention.
Jackie Mason.
That's the difference. It was on
Like,
TV.
Yep.
He's the guy that everybody
But
knows to walk
that's
up to
the funny
over there.
thing. It was on the same program, the same act. Didn't the judges see that?
Well, the
And
thing
why
is,
didn't they call him out on it?
They see
thing
so
is-
many people. How are they going to remember?
yeah, but Howie should, because Howie was he was one of the judges at
loved him.
Chips.
You guys are forgetting that show's not even live, so they had 2-3 months for someone
Exactly.
to notice that.
Right.
And they said,
Yeah.
you know what, let's just leave it in. Somebody must have said that and said, oh no, we'll leave it in.
Well, because he's
Crazy.
a younger and Chips was older.
Should have
That's
been
why.
disqualified.
He should have been disqualified, definitely.
Did he go through?
He shouldn't be disqualified. He should be beaten up.
I don't think he did.
He did not go through, but still, he
It's the principle.
He put it out
I
there.
would sue them. I would. There's a lawyer that'll take that case on contingency.
Are you kidding? The publicity for that alone.
Absolutely.
Because you're not just suing that guy. You're suing America's Got Talent.
Dave, that guy Pete, he's a legit comedian, or is he playing a character?
Oh, he's a legit comedian.
Yeah.
And he stands outside and barks for time.
Yeah.
That he never gets.
What is
But
he?
he does
he
get it. He
doesn't
gets
get-
it like
Does-
preparing a bunch of spots in the village.
Yeah.
Well, what does he do? He has to bring in what? So many people?
No, he just barks for spots.
So does
Oh,
he
really?
say roof roof or bow wow?
Both.
Okay.
Nice one, Gisela. You should be in comedy.
He growls.
And what's his name? Peter Burnett?
Yeah.
Pete Burnett, yeah.
Pete Burnett? And he's what, in his 50s, 60s?
Late 40s.
Oh, late 40s? Okay.
Definitely late 40s. Maybe older. I never asked.
So we're
Not
the-
right to ask a lady her age.
Oh, boy. But, what was the, what are we doing with the say what, Joe?
All right. So the phrase is, which Dave said it. You want to say it again?
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
Okay, up your nose with a rubber hose. So you have to think of either a movie title or a song title, and you're gonna put that phrase in it. So, Saturday Night Live, up your nose with a rubber hose, or, you know,
I don't get it.
Saturday Night Live.
I'm just throwing it out there. Whatever you
I know
want
what
to
you
say
mean,
in front
though.
of it.
I'm not sure what you mean.
You're gonna say something like.
Remember last week we
yes,
did
up your ass.
the music up your ass? Well,
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So now the phrase is up your nose with a rubber hose.
Like they're mentioning him in their
Oh,
raps.
okay, I see what you mean.
Right.
Like we did last week.
So
in your
I
ass.
want to kiss you up your nose with a rubber hose. Instead, I want to kiss you all over. You know.
How about
Right.
Debbie Does Dallas up the nose of a rubber hose?
Exactly. Yeah.
There you
so
go,
you
that'll work.
keep on shouting them out, and on Facebook, if you have any good,
Jenna,
Just put it
Jenna
out
does
there.
up your nose with a rubber hose.
right? Debbie does up your nose with a rubber.
I was going Jenna loves Rocco.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Debbie does Dallas. No, okay.
That's funny. I have a question I want to put out there.
Go ahead.
Everybody who's watched TV, I want to know.
I'm out.
And give us your opinion and why you've chosen this person. Who do you think was the greatest TV dad?
Bill Cosby.
Back to that one again.
Jax Teller.
We haven't done that one. We did Mom.
Seriously, you mean?
Right.
Dave Hodge. No,
You mean seriously, you mean?
TV dads like.
You know who
You
I
mean
like?
seriously the best dad?
Like
you mean?
Al
Mis-
Bundy.
Yeah.
Mr. Drummond.
Al Bundy.
Al Bundy. That's a good choice. Now, why?
Yeah,
have you
Mr. Drummond. Two of the kids are dead already. No.
Yeah.
But they weren't dead when he was the
Father
dad.
knows best.
The dad in Lolita.
Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
Andy
Ward
Griffith,
Cleaver.
Ward Cleaver.
Yeah.
Danny Thomas was great.
Ozzie Nelson.
What was
Ah,
that?
no, no.
What was that Robert De Niro movie? A Boy's Life.
Right.
I forgot the actor,
Yeah, he's
but
gonna
what
be
about
arrested for that
Rags to
one.
Riches, where the father had all those children too?
My three
Tony
sons.
Randall.
Dick Van Patten.
Tony Randall. Well, no, he wasn't a TV dad.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but the kid
Adrian
wasn't.
Peterson. He's on TV every Sunday.
The kid wasn't a
Wait,
prevalent
and what
character
about
on
the
show.
dad
She
from
was.
Eight Is Enough? What was his
He
name?
had 2 kids.
Oh,
Dick
Dick
Van
Van Patten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom. What was his name? Bradford.
Michael
Dick Van
said
Patten.
John Robinson.
Who was the dad that was the coach of the girls' basketball team, and they all had to move out to
Mike,
California after the
I'm a little
divorce?
slow.
Ed Ruffalo.
John Robinson. What movie? What show?
The Lost in Space.
Oh, from Lost in Space. I never watched that.
He lost the kids. For crying
How
out
about-
loud.
how about
Lost
Al
in
Bundy?
Space.
Al
I
Bundy.
love Al Bundy.
I think Ed said that or Dave.
I said that.
Dave. Well, we're the same person. It doesn't
Same
matter.
thing.
The guy with the purple shirt. Wait,
Nobody's
the
mentioned.
chubby guy with the purple shirt.
I
no,
can't
wait.
believe nobody's mentioned Howard Cunningham.
The guys with
Yeah, he was good.
6X.
Yeah, he was all right.
The
But
guy that
he lost
the guy
Chuck.
that was cuckolded by the little Italian Jewish guy that was with his motorcycle renting over the garage.
He lost Chuck. He lost one of his
Yeah,
kids.
Chuck was missing. Get out of
They
here.
didn't even look for him.
And he was
Wait,
nasty.
and who was the
Anyway.
dad from
Taken.
Oh my God!
What about Mr. DeFazio?
With Michael J. Fox. What was the name of that program?
Oh, Alan.
Family
Alan.
Ties.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Family
Oh, I
Ties.
hated
Yep,
him.
that's
He
it.
was
Mr.
annoying.
Keaton, he was
That
terrible.
hippie.
he was terrible.
He was
about-
a dirty hippie.
No, what was
Goddamn
his name?
libtard.
I'm going with Mr. DeFazio.
Stephen Keaton. Stephen Keaton, and as the son was Alex P. Keaton, was Michael J. Fox's character.
The intern's eating. Take that off his pay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dock him.
There you go.
You owe us money.
Just Andrew. We're training a new intern tonight for our show. His name is Andrew DiCrescenzo, and whatever Gene teaches you, forget everything.
Do the
he
opposite and
teaches
you'll be
you.
fine.
Exactly.
Michael Lepowski has a good one. He said, "What about Herman Munster?"
There you go.
That
He was a good
cool.
dad.
What about the Adams Family guy? What's his?
Gomez Adams.
Gomez
Yeah,
Adams,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's eating chicken off of the board. You see that?
There you go. At least the board's good for something.
That's what those dials are
Coach
for.
Lubbock from Just the 10 of Us.
That's true.
Oh my God! Remember that show?
Yeah.
No.
He was a comedian, that guy. Because I remember he used to do a joke. He used
Bill
to put a
Kirchenbach.
You know,
he used to put
honestly,
a spoon on his nose and say he was a koala.
I think the best father, and he's never even been a father in his real life, is Steve Martin.
From Father the Bride.
He always plays a father.
That's from the movie, though.
Yeah, but anything. I'm saying he's been a great father across all his movies.
But I got a tough one with this one. What about Michael Taylor and Joey Harris from My Two Dads, Paul Reiser and Greg
Right.
Eglin?
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
Oh, you're
How
not
do you
gonna,
choose between them?
you're not gonna say Charlie Sheen and Ashton Kutcher?
No.
Well, they weren't the dad.
Right.
I'm gonna say,
Danny Thomas.
no, Martin Crane from Frasier. He was hysterical. Oh my God,
I
love
still
Mahoney.
stick
that.
with Al Bundy.
No, I think. No,
What about Sanford?
John
and Son?
Mahoney was hysterical in that character.
Although Fred Sanford was good, Sanford and Son.
Fred
Yeah.
Sanford. That's
Yeah, that's
right.
what I just said.
Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker.
Bunker.
I'm not hungry, Archie.
I like when they were trying to name Gloria's son, and the Michael and Gloria wanted the baby to be called Stanislav Archie Stivic, but Archie goes, "No, I
Yes.
want them to be Archibald Stanislav Stivic." And he goes, "Dad, you realize what those initials are?" He goes, "Just forget about it."
He was funny.
See, they could never air Archie Bunker.
No, that
Again,
could never
no.
be aired today.
No, that would be thrown off the air. Well, I'm not going to mention Bill Cosby.
He's.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
But he was,
did
a
you
great,
read
he
that?
was a great dad on
I'm,
TV, though.
I'm reading a top 10 list of the best dads, and of course Cosby is number one. But then you got John Wharton. You guys didn't figure him.
Yeah, that's for the wishy-washy. But I can't
Right.
believe that.
Charles Ingalls. We had that one from what was that?
The
Little
House
House
on
on
the
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 Prairie.
dad from Seventh
Oh, wow.
Heaven.
How about Ben Cartwright?
Yeah, number 4.
And
yeah.
George Jefferson?
Sheriff Andy
Oh, wait,
Taylor
wait.
from
He
the
was
Andy
too
Griffith
busy
Show.
making money.
Fred
Andy
Sanford.
Griffith.
Fred Sanford. Yeah.
This Dave just showed me something that says Al Bundy became the best father of all time.
Oh,
geez.
really?
Yeah.
I liked him better than Alan Thicke.
Because it's the two above him.
Alan Thicke, Bill Cosby, and the guy from Seventh Heaven.
Wow.
That was a pederast.
Nah, get him out of here. Seventh. I didn't like that.
What about Philip Banks from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
He died, James Avery.
Yeah.
He did.
yeah. He was pretty good.
That was good. He was the father to
My buddy
Will.
married the first mother.
Danny Tanner.
Which one? Oh, really?
Dan
Yeah, the
Tanner,
one who
House.
hates Will
Full
Smith.
House.
Oh, that's Full House. Yeah, Joey. No, Joey was in.
Ward Cleaver.
cut it out.
We said Brooklyn.
Did you? Okay. What else?
Did you see the commercial with him on it, Dave Cooley?
The new one, yeah, where he's in the trunk.
in the couch. Yeah.
That is so funny.
Tim Taylor, the tall man from Home Alone.
Yes. Although I like his new show, I'm glad they're bringing it back
Yeah,
on Fox.
Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I've been
canceled
binge
that, right?
watching that now.
Yeah, that's a fun show.
Is it funny? I didn't.
It's a good show, yeah.
I've only seen dribs and drabs of it. I haven't.
Or-
really.
It's very well written.
Eric
Yeah.
Camden from Seventh Heaven.
That's
What
the
a-
one I just said.
Oh, you
Too
said
bad
that.
Ralph Cramden was a dad.
How about Conrad Janis from Mork and Mindy?
Mork and Mindy?
Oh, wow.
He had to
Yeah.
put up with an alien.
Well, what
His
about
daughter.
Oh, my God.
Hey,
What about Mork? He became a
Mork,
a
that's right.
dad.
Jonathan Winters, right?
There's some trivia for you. What TV show did Mork and Mindy originate on?
Happy Days. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that.
Yep.
All right.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
In this country.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
You know why? Because we were watching it before it went to England.
Exactly.
yeah probably.
Was
we
Happy-
saw it on the rerun. We didn't see it live.
When we were talking about this, Paul, was there a show that came from England that spawned from Happy Days, or the Happy
The
Days spawned
In-Betweeners?
from?
No.
Because
No.
I know Sanford and Son did. I know All
No,
in
it's
the
spawned from the
Family did.
movie. It's spawned from the movie.
All right, I know Sanford and Son came from an English show.
Steptoe and Son.
I know
Not Happy
Three's
Days.
Company did was A Man About the House, right?
Right.
Not Happy Days, though.
And then All in the Family,
Is In Sickness and in Health.
right?
Yeah, but not Happy
Till
Days.
Death Do Us Part.
Yeah, but not Happy
Same
Days.
thing. There's two series. One was after the wife, the woman who played the wife died. So the second one was called Till Death Do Us Part. The first
Kind of
one
like
was
Archie's
Yeah.
Place.
You want to laugh? All these years, I've
Hopefully,
been a
that's what we
fan
listen to the show for.
of All in the Family, and I never knew Edith died later on in the series.
Yeah.
I totally missed the bus
They
on
killed
that.
her off.
Well, that's why if you watch All in the Families, it's still with her in it. So because when she didn't re-sign and everything, they killed her off, and that's when it became Archie Bunker's place. Because he
Yeah.
wound up
Right.
buying the bar up the street, and,
And it never said how she died. She just was dead. The episode started with her being dead.
She
already.
Stephanie became the new
died.
wife.
Right.
What was
daughter,
the reason why they killed her off? Because
She didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh,
She was
really?
done. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't want to do it.
What did you guys think about Roseanne bringing back
I
John
mean, how long do you
Goodman
want to be called a
after he
dingbat?
died? Right? Archie, the
know.
new Roseanne.
That was kind of odd.
Yeah, it was a good 4 episodes.
That was first 10. You know the rest of the season's still going to air.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Channel 5, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they have to
Fox bought
contractually.
him. Fox bought him.
Fox bought it, but
Oh,
they might-
Roseanne?
But now they're thinking about doing it with Sarah Gilbert as the lead, and
They
not
can't do it, though. She's not going to give up the rights for that.
No, she said she would. It was on the news.
Did she
Yeah,
really?
they're going to get to give her a chunk of change.
They
They
got
got,
it.
they
They
got,
got
her- they
It must
got-
be a really chunk of change.
No,
huh?
they.
Oh, it's going to be a good chunk of change
Yeah.
for her to do nothing and for them to tank the series.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, she's got to do it because she's over a barrel now.
And
because
she'll
of what
keep
she
her
said.
rep, I guess.
She should have never apologized.
Never.
Apologizing is a kiss of death.
Oh, there's something.
She has no
Uh-huh.
apology. She has nothing to
Eddie
apologize
Banter said
for.
Archie
She already
Bunker for
did.
president.
She didn't have to.
Here's
She
some-
shouldn't have.
Here's something that Michael Lepowski just told us. Imagine if we had Reverend Jim as a dad
Wow.
from Taxi.
Come on, it'd be awesome.
That'd be funny.
He's a great character.
That's to me.
That's a good answer
You know what?
for a switch
I-
movie character.
If you want to get close to him, Frank Gallagher on Shameless.
Yes.
The British version, not that crappy American one.
you know what?
No, the American version's
Not the
much
crappy
better.
version.
No.
That British version's horrible.
Terrible.
Dude, half of the
That guy's
scripts
a-
are identical.
That guy's a terrible
Only in the
Frank.
beginning of the first season.
And
That's-
our Fiona has much better cans.
Ed, I got to ask you. Everybody talks about that show, Shameless. What is that about?
It's about
A very
just
shameless family.
It's
A
a
poor
down
housing
and out
estate.
Chicago family that just has all kinds of problems.
in the projects, but not building projects, like housing projects.
They own a house, but it's
falling apart.
dilapidated
it's
neighborhood.
falling apart.
Isn't the show with William Macy or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
William
William
Macy.
Macy's the dad.
Who's
and-
a total junkie, alcoholic,
Yeah.
everything.
And it's a remake of the British show, which is very
You said that
good.
5
The
times,
British
you're
show-
not describing
I
this one.
watched the British show. It's good. I just those British people talk like they're chewing on their face.
No pun intended, huh? No.
and the oldest daughter raises all the kids.
Right.
And she's not even that old, right?
No,
I
heard-
season 1, she's 18.
I've never gotten a chance to look at it, but everybody raves about that show.
Dude, that show is so good. You
And
should
then
watch
it's
it.
It's the white good times of our time.
Yeah,
Now, you know
it
what
is,
else
yeah.
too? They always on the Netflix that Stranger Things.
No,
I love
so-
Stranger
like
Things.
that show.
I love
Only
Stranger
because she's
Things.
your neighbor.
I know the kid with the frizzy hair lives in Little Egg Harbor.
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah. My friend saw him at Walmart and took photos with him.
Funny.
He's in Walmart. That's
Yeah, no, he wasn't working there.
That is
Oh,
funny.
that's funny.
The Stranger Things is awesome.
It's a
James.
good show. I don't know about. It's a really good show. It's a weird show, but it's a good show.
Are
No,
these,
another
are
good
these
show.
exclusive on Netflix?
Yes, yes, owned by
That one is.
There's another show on there that's from England. It's called The End of the Effing World. It's
Okay.
about this kid that likes to kill things. He starts off killing animals and he decides he's
Wow.
going to kill this girl. But every time he's about to kill her, he starts falling in love with her.
The
And
Ed
he starts
Ruffalo
killing
show.
people. It's really good.
You know what I
don't
used to
He ends
We're
up,
talking
he ends
about
up with a
marriage.
dead hooker in the trunk.
If anybody remember Showtime, I used to love Dexter.
I never watched that. I was just surprised.
Dexter was good, except the ending was horrible. It ruined the show for
Like
me.
Sopranos, the ending sucked.
The
Yeah.
Sopranos ending
I was going to say something
delightful.
funny for the best
No.
dad,
Right, go ahead.
Papa Smurf.
There you go.
He was a good dad.
Gene
We don't know if he
Hero.
was their dad though.
But he was
He
Papa
was somebody's
Smurf.
dad.
Right.
They
He
just
was
kept saying,
somebody's
"Who's your
papa.
daddy?"
Who's your daddy?
There was
and what
no-
does he do?
There was nobody there to. There was like no Mama Smurf. So.
I like
wait.
the redheaded one.
We forgot about
I just
Tony
want to know
Danza.
Smurfette.
No, we
How
didn't
come
forget
she didn't
about
have
it.
like a million kids with all those?
I want to know what would happen
Maybe
to the
she
redheaded
did.
Smurf though.
Maybe she
was
did.
pretty
He just
hot.
didn't realize it.
She was.
Who was the best mother?
Uh-huh.
We did that already. But remember, we forgot Tony Danza, who's the boss.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, he raised Alyssa Milano. Woo.
Yeah, and if you
But
ever
that
seen
wasn't his
Embrace
kid.
of the Vampire, you know what a bad job he did. And thank God he did.
The mothers, that's a tough one. I think we went over this, but we'll
Although
see.
we went with hottest
Barbara-
moms.
Barbara
I don't know
Billingsley.
if
Yeah, I
it's
think you went with
favorite.
hottest,
Yeah,
not best.
So best,
Barbara Billingsley you had from Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
right? That's a.
And you know what I
classic.
like best about it? She could speak jive.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's
on
fun.
the airplane.
Yeah.
That's what.
You got to jump and jive.
Best mom. Wow, that's
So
a
don't want
tough
no help.
one.
So don't get no help.
Definitely Marion Ross.
Yeah.
Miss
Brady
Piggy.
Bunch.
Yeah.
Peg Bundy.
Yeah, Florence Henderson.
All right, yeah,
Henderson.
Florence Henderson, I would say, and the Partridge Family.
I think Peg Bundy was a funny mom, but she was a horrible mom. Overall.
Well, so was Al. I wasn't a good dad either.
Right.
They were both horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Their daughter was
Yeah,
hot
show.
though. Christina Applegate. Oh my
They
God.
did. They did not. They did everything
You know she
short
did
of
an
like.
episode of Silver Spoons I just saw the other day.
oh
my
wow,
God.
Silver Spoon.
When
Huh?
she was
Erin Gray.
Ricky Schroeder's date.
Erin Gray.
You guys are really
Who
taking me
was?
back there.
Erin Gray.
Christina Applegate.
Oh really?
Oh,
Yeah, she was a mob boss's
Oh,
daughter.
what about Punky Brewster?
She's so hot.
I never
Yeah,
saw
she
that.
got hot.
And what was the girl?
Oh no, I meant back then.
Right.
What was the girl?
Even
that,
now.
The girl that's on the
But
Big
now
Bang
too.
Theory. Blossom. She did
Blossom.
Blossom. With Ted Wass, who was the father. He played Nick Russo. He was like a record dude or something. I can't remember.
What? That show sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember now.
Dave likes Drew Barrymore on
Blossom.
E.T.
Remember with the?
I remember Blossom.
The girl from the Big Bang Theory. What's her name?
Blossom.
No, her real name.
Yeah, I don't care.
Mayim
Mayim Bialik.
Bialik.
Yeah.
Blossom.
She doesn't have a
Blossom.
real name. She's
Yeah.
just Blossom.
You like that Big
What?
Bang Theory?
Blossom
I
without
love
the
it.
hat.
It's like Fabian.
Well written. Very well written.
I watched a couple of episodes of Blackish totally randomly, and it's actually
It's
very
good?
funny.
It is. It's a very funny show. I
Yeah.
like that show.
All right, here's what we'll do. We'll name the character of either the mother or the father, and we got to try and figure out which show they were from. All right, here, I'll start it off. George Papadopoulos.
Oh,
Full
that
House.
was from. No, that was from. Oh my God.
He was a football player in real life.
From
Oh my
Webster.
God.
Webster is correct.
That's right.
Alex Karras.
Dead.
Dead.
How the hell did I remember that?
All right. What was the guy at the father's name in Alf?
Oh wow, I don't
Oh
know.
God, yeah. I can't remember his.
I don't know.
I know he had
Or
glasses.
character name. I can't remember.
All right. Let's see. I got to think of somebody. Fathers
Oh,
here.
cat.
Fathers. Oh,
You know, on Melmac,
Your
we
mother's
made
a father.
stomachs, all of us.
James Evans Sr.
Good
That's
times.
good times, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dave, your turn.
They killed him off, too.
Oh, damn. That's a tough one.
Jackson
I didn't know you were
Feller.
going to be passing that off.
Damn.
No cheating on the phone, Dave.
Well, I had to think of one. He didn't-
How about BJ?
And the
You want a
bear?
BJ? What?
From MASH.
Okay.
Oh,
BJ Honeycutt.
I was going
comedian
with
with
BJ
a
and the Bear.
All right, but you don't tell everybody the answer. You just give the question.
No, I was just saying about
Oh,
good dads.
he
I was
said,
gonna-
what
I
about?
was answering the other one.
I didn't even know he was a dad.
Who's
Yeah.
on first?
Yeah, Aaron was
I don't
his
know.
daughter.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, boy. I don't know any.
Jax Teller.
I don't know. You should have just kept it as a convo because now you just really got
now
everybody
you got
quiet.
confused.
Really.
It's all right.
What is wrong with you?
Tom Bradford.
8 is enough.
8 is enough.
Think Van
8
Patten?
is enough.
I will. We'll switch it to moms now. Let's see. Deborah Barone.
Well, we know that, of course. Patricia Heaton, of course.
But what show was it?
Right. Everybody
The
loves
middle.
Raymond.
Okay, the middle.
Oh,
Everybody knows that one.
wrong 10-year running show.
What was her name in that? Frankie. Wait, what was her name in the middle?
Heck.
Heck, that's right. How can I forget?
Okay,
that?
I forgot the name, but the mother from the Golden Girls.
Oh, Sophia Petrillo.
Sophia.
B. Arthur.
Was
It's
that
funny, and she was the youngest one, right?
Estelle
out of all
Getty,
of them in
yes.
real life?
Maud.
Maud? Yeah, I don't remember Maud.
Maud.
That was a spin-off from All in the Family.
Oh yeah. There was a.
Adrian Barbeau.
All in the Family had like 3 spin-offs. It had the Jeffersons. It had
Yep.
Maud and something else. I can't.
And see, like Mrs. Garrett wasn't a
Archie's
mother,
Place.
but she was a great
Archie's Place was a
character
spin-off.
for.
Oh yeah, Edna Garrett, Charlotte Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a live wire.
She was like a house mom, but not really,
But
their mom.
Archie's Place was a spin-off of All in the Family.
Right.
That's where it evolved to.
Yeah. All right, Gene.
Burt Campbell.
Bert. Oh, that's Empty Nest.
Nope.
No, wait.
But it's
Bert.
the right guy.
No, Soap.
Yep.
Soap. Richard.
I should have known that.
Richard
That's what you
Mulligan.
watched.
Richard
Yeah.
Mulligan.
Richard Mulligan. He was a great actor.
Mulligan.
That sounds like a weird song,
I
Mulligan.
heard he.
I've
Remember
been,
that?
I've been on that show lately. I started DVRing that.
What, Soap?
Yeah.
Yeah, Soapy's been watching that. Like,
Are
Are you kidding? We were watching it during the Uncomfortably Funny podcast.
That show,
true.
that show was a groundbreaking
Wow.
show.
It really was.
I never
Yeah,
cared for that show.
I never
I
heard
really
of it.
didn't. I just, for some reason, I used to watch. I used to enjoy Billy Crystal.
You also have to remember though, for the time, what it was for, and
Right.
what it
for its
represented.
time, it was ahead of its
No, I'm
time.
saying what it represented, because you don't have soap operas anymore. Women aren't sitting home watching soap operas.
And they touched on topics that they.
And on top of that, they made fun of every topic on top of it, making it feel like a soap, but funny.
I like when I remember the one guy, Chester.
Yes.
I forgot who he was.
Yes.
And he was like in a diner working, and the guy goes, "Can I have the cheddar plate?" He goes, "I'm Chester J." It finally hit him who the hell he was. It was so funny.
I like the one with the kid with the dummy.
Otto and George.
Yeah, Jay Johnston.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he was
Jay
walking
Johnson.
around. But the thing is, him and the dummy would be dressed up exactly the same, no
Right,
matter what the
right.
suit was. Whatever the leisure wear was the same exact.
Another thing also, he wasn't a real ventriloquist. They actually had someone do the voice for the dummy.
He
Nice.
was.
He wasn't a ventriloquist.
He fell off the face of the earth. Do you remember the Red Fox? Not Sanford or somebody. He had a variety
Royal
show.
Family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had there's this character on the show that all the time used to come in and he goes, "Hello there, Mr. Johnson," and he used to go, "You can call
That's
me Ray."
Billy Saluga.
Yeah.
From Ace Trucking Company.
I used to love that guy. He had the big cigar and the big.
Ace Trucking Company was an improv group, and he was part of it. Fred Willard was part of it. Patty Deutsch. There was a whole bunch of people that were part of that group. It
Oh
was a
yeah,
great
did you
group.
ever see that bit when he goes, "You can call me Ray,"
Billy Saluga.
and you can call me Jay.
You call me Ray J. You call me Jay. You call me Ray Jr. You call me
Just
don't,
remember,
but you don't have to
Soap
call
had a
me.
spin-off, Benson.
But you doesn't have to call me
me Ray.
Johnson.
And
Right.
Carla, wasn't their dad in a hee-haw?
But what show was Benson a spin-off of?
Soap.
That's right.
Benson
What's
was-
really funny is we got
Yes.
Benson in England way before we got Soap, so no one had a clue. And I
wow.
thought Soap was I mean, it was a
guess-
comedy,
I-
but I thought it was like a serious thing. I didn't realize.
Well, that's the whole thing. They
Yeah.
were making fun of the
I,
series.
Right.
I could know there was no soap in England because I
Ready?
could smell you from
What about
here.
what about the butler?
Wow, that old gag.
What about Butler?
That's Robert Guillaume.
Shows.
Oh yeah, there was Mr. Belvedere.
Mr. Belvedere.
Oh, Belvedere, come here, boy.
All right. Gene, let's take a short break. We'll be back in about after these messages. Don't go nowhere. This is the Animal House Radio.
We'll be back
Show.
after traffic and weather.
Play some music, buddy.
And we have an open door.
I'm gonna try putting up that thing, Gene, where they put the disclaimer up and see if that. All right, we are back.
Where is our intern?
All right, let's get us back on the.
We like to thank.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to take
like,
the "We'll Be
the
Back"
luckiest
screen
man.
down, Gene? Never.
Listen, Rome wasn't built in a day, Carlo.
Now
4
batting
days.
Manny Mota.
Roman started building the studio. They haven't finished it yet.
All right.
I would like to thank no one but myself.
All right, nobody could see Andrew.
Yeah, unfortunately. They just sit on.
Well, he's an intern. He doesn't need to be seen.
In the corner next to Paul is an intern's
Well,
knee.
if he wants, he could actually sit
There you go. There's the
right
leg
next
out.
to Paul.
That's not even going to work. Though.
That could be the best thing.
You gotta move
The
over.
mysterious
You move
intern that no
over.
one,
It
no one
works.
can see.
Dave moves over a little bit, you move
be
over
like
a little bit,
Wilson.
and he moves over.
Just show your leg. That's it.
Yeah, you're like
Then you
one of the
can sing.
Rockettes.
There were 3 in the bed, and the little one.
No, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me again.
Roll over.
Don't do that to me again. That song was out for a
rolled
week.
over, and one fell out.
All right, we gotta calm down because we're stepping over each other again. I know it's hard with 6 people in
I
the
like
room.
to step on you.
7 actually.
We pay extra
No,
for that.
the best is when we started singing Timbalero and Paul couldn't get that out of his head.
Timbolero,
Yeah, at least that song I didn't
Timbolero.
mind, but that one I don't want to
Oh no,
hear.
you like the animal quackers
No, I don't hear
in
that
my
one either.
soup, monkeys and rabbits.
Gisela's here for
Loop-de-loop.
the. Gisela's here for the children that watches the show.
Oh my
Exactly.
Are
They
we-
need entertainment too, you know.
All right, joining us now is a young man who contacted us on Facebook because we put out an ad for a radio intern. And
Who did, Vincent? Turn over?
Vincent Terranova, yes, our trusty executive producer. You know, he's very good at what he does.
He is.
And this young man emailed me, inboxed me on Facebook, and we brought him in today to see how he likes the setup. And so I want everybody here and all our listeners to give a warm welcome to Andrew DiCrescenzo.
Hey, what's up?
Anthony Crescenzo. All right.
Oh, no, please.
Straight from an
You
elephant.
only see like half of me, so that's.
You look skinny in that
I haven't-
picture.
I
So go
haven't,
with it.
I haven't worked.
Well,
out
if
my-
you hold up a mirror, we could see the whole side of you.
Plus, you're only an intern, so you only get to show
I
half.
should- I should have brought a mirror.
You have to work your way up to a full
Yeah,
image.
you'll be like the mystery.
So one day
If you
I'll be
need
in the
help, he looks
center,
like Shane
right in
McMahon.
between you guys.
All right.
Is it me or is mic number 7 not turned on?
They're all on.
Maybe you gotta lift it
I
up,
can- I can
the
hear
volume
him.
up a bit.
I hear. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
All right.
better.
I didn't hear him before.
Should we start over?
If you ask him a
No, it
question-
wasn't interesting.
Listen to me. She only showed half of them and half volume.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. If you're going to ask him a
Half volume and
question,
half of me.
give him a chance to answer instead of stepping over him, all right? Let's do that. At least give him the courtesy.
No, don't let him talk.
I don't want him to get
Yeah, no.
disgusted in the first day. Let it at least take 3
I'm
weeks.
He doesn't get to talk. He's an intern.
All right.
the
Well, no,
intern.
he's got to
He
get
makes it through
abused
the
a little.
summer. He's good.
We ask him a question, then we answer it.
No,
We
somebody-
don't even know if the damn intern has a voice.
we're-
Damn interns coming up.
Gene's training him, so he's already ruined.
No, Facebook is on. I'm on. I'm on. It ended, but it started again. Yeah, it reopened.
we have reopened.
So what's your real job, Andrew? What do you really do?
Thank
I'm
you.
working in a restaurant right now. And
Which one?
I'm
Which
trying
one?
to get out of the restaurant right
Thinking it's on.
now. I'm at Nordstrom Cafe.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, okay. Ooh, wow, that's
I hope
ritzy.
none of those people
I-
are watching this. And I want them to know that I'm trying to get out.
No. So what we're going to do, Gene, we got logged off.
No, I think, Gene, you're right. We're not on. Yeah.
Okay. All
Why?
right,
What did
so-
we say?
Because we went on a break.
Because we mentioned the restaurant?
No.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh yeah, Facebook will throw you off for copyright.
You have to write a disclaimer in order
Yeah.
to.
No, you don't. It will detect the music and throw you off. It doesn't care what the disclaimer says.
People,
It's
I know.
automatic.
All right,
And how
so
come DJs get to do it?
so Joe,
don't.
we're going to start with you, and if
What
you
am
have
I
any
doing?
questions for our intern, we'll go around the room.
Friction
So
does it every
Joe will
Friday.
start.
I don't
with-
have a question, but I want to welcome him to our show. Thank you
Okay.
for coming in. I know
Thank
you
you for having
came a
me.
long way.
Yeah.
And I hope, you like what you see and maybe stick around.
So far.
Yeah,
grow with us.
there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. With the show's going to be evolving and growing. So hope you come along for the ride.
That means we want to get fatter.
All right, Ed.
I do have a
How much
question.
fatter can I get?
Let him have it, Ed. Get him, Ed.
Wait. I had a question. Real
Dave
quick.
has a
Go
question.
ahead.
Now,
He's out of order. You're all out of
you're
order.
the new intern. I just have one thing. If any fleshlights show up to the studio, you're gonna fucking hijack them. Is all I want to know. Because I know another show where the damn intern stole a fleshlight.
Flashlight or flashlight?
Fleshlight.
Fleshlight.
A fleshlight.
I don't know what a flashlight is.
It leaves a lot to the imagination, but yes, that's exactly.
Very
It's
little
like
to
a
the imagination.
fleshlight, but you can fuck it.
Nobody's touching my flashlight.
Dishwasher safe.
Depending on your gender.
Did we get?
Aha.
Are we still on, or we got bounced?
Go ahead.
How long before they push back
Oh.
on, you think?
Couple of days.
You wanna
At the end of Andrew's segment.
Wait, you wanna sign on my thing?
Sign it under my name, Gene.
Or mine?
No, under you got it under Animal House. So go on to my personal.
Why don't you get the intern to use his Facebook?
Okay.
We're Hamilton Radios.
Did you go to college too, Andrew?
I did.
Which one? Which
I
one?
went to school of visual arts.
Oh, cool.
So you didn't go to college.
So what do you want to? What do you want to be?
That's what it
What,
feels
what do you
like.
want to actually
Back
end up
up?
doing?
Well, I wanted to do cartooning and illustration. I'm working on my own comic series, and it's not really going anywhere. But
Well, it
People
takes a
don't buy
while.
comics
It's hard-
anymore.
It's hard. It's hard to break
it is
in.
hard. I'm
That's
still
a
doing
very-
it for fun, though.
Yeah.
That's a very niche thing. Just
Yeah,
like
it's very hard to-
like
Yeah.
voiceover
Telling me.
work, it's very hard to crack that.
It's hard to break in, but if you break in, then you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get in, I mean,
Just keep doing it. That's what keep going for
the
it.
gentleman that we got calling in a few minutes, Rob, he's got like 490
Actually,
IMDb credits.
Wow.
I knew more of his son, Ash Paulson, before I knew of him because I was watching a podcast with his son on it, and when his father was mentioned, and he was talking about how people usually ask about his father through him, I was like, who? I know him.
Now, what does his son do?
I know there's a online. It's called Game Explain, and they talk a lot about video games. And I know Ash Paulson is a son, and he's on there. So I was a fan of him and the other people on there. And then they were talking about his father in one podcast. I'm like, whoa, what? So
I met his son Ash on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Was he versus the Evil Dead?
I knew that
was thrown off by Paul.
I was waiting for you to pull the trigger on that.
I was thinking versus Evil Dead, and then he said Wednesday. I'm like, I was done.
Well, the other thing I wanted to tell you, Andrew, your cheeks are definitely going to hurt here. You might get a little facelift.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
laughing.
Yeah, because they will mug you in the parking lot and beat you in the face.
I noticed that.
It's a rough neighborhood.
But Monk's not always armed, so it's okay.
That's funny. Paul, you have any questions?
I asked 3 already.
Oh, you
Where's
did?
everybody else?
You gotta ask
Hey,
Ford.
Is this thing on? Oh, okay.
No,
This thing on, is this thing on, is
it
this
is a
thing
tough
on,
field
is
you're
this thing
talking
on? That
about.
was 4 right there.
It is a tough field you're in, but
Hello,
if you
Mary,
break
how are
through,
you?
you'll be good, man.
Yeah,
Mary,
starting to doubt I will, but I'm trying.
You got to network. You
You
got
got to be positive that you're going to do it, dude. Don't
Yeah.
fucking
Magic Johnson.
You got to meet people in that.
No,
field.
yeah.
You don't have to be positive. Just be negative.
Yeah.
Just like you're never
Be
disappointed.
negative, yeah.
Yeah, think the worst, and if anything good happens, it's amazing.
No.
You go to the
Be
Ed
positive
Ruffalo
always.
Yeah,
School of
positive,
Thought.
absolutely.
Always be positive.
You have to subscribe to the Ed Ruffalo.
What if it's
School
A
of Thought.
positive?
Who's trying to call us? I see the Skype
Yeah,
thing up.
Skype's up.
Can I ask a question?
Skype up.
Can I ask a question now?
Sure, go ahead.
Ed had made a comment about women. I think it was Ed or Dave. I don't remember. And he said at least you've seen one.
Yeah, bring him up.
I made the comment about
Oh,
it.
that was you?
Comment.
He
Wait.
said at least I've seen one. So I think you should like just delve into that rabbit hole.
Go ahead. You're there. You're
Yeah.
right next to him. Ask him.
So,
Hold on, caller.
this might be. You might have been saved by.
No,
the
this
caller.
is Ruben. He's probably
That's the same thing.
wants to ask about his restraining
Ruben,
order.
The Ruben's calling it. Is there any food?
I hear someone in the.
I
hear
barely.
him. I hear him slightly in the left
yeah,
speaker.
me too.
Guys, please. Ruben, what's up?
You there, Ruben?
Hello, this is Christopher Lloyd's attorney. Can I help you?
Why can't we hear him? Oh, he did. He called.
I hear the car.
Get him off that Skype. Let him call on the right one.
Could we call him?
Your Microsoft is not working. Hello.
Hang up on him.
We can't. We can't
I have
even
no.
hear him.
I have no use for incompetence.
We'll talk to one
Home
who finishes
case
the floor.
bubbling. No end. We hear you laughing, Ruben. We don't hear you talking.
Yeah.
Christopher
But-
Lloyd's
but
lawyer
lately-
sent over a cease and desist order. Says you have to stay 1,000 yards away from him at all times.
But he said you're okay because you're insulated.
Ryan Scott Weber is watching.
Hey, Ryan, how are you?
Carl, getting the guy for sticking in the brain.
Yes.
Yeah, he's coming up in about
As soon as you hang up.
7 minutes. As soon as we hang up on you.
Hang on.
Bye.
See ya.
Do we have to keep him on for 7 minutes?
No, come on. If you want to talk to us, come in and get free food.
Yeah, Ruben.
talking through the
Eggplant,
tin can.
Ruben. You
It's
like
all,
that.
it's
You're
all
vegetarian.
vegetarian today for you.
Yes, it is.
He's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
All right, you cut him off? Thank you, buddy.
Let's get back to this guy never seeing a girl.
Yeah. Who
Oh,
never saw
no.
that?
He didn't say he never saw a girl. He didn't say he didn't see a girl.
I was trying to make a sarcastic joke, but you know.
I thought it was a factual statement.
You're not like the 40-year-old virgin, are you?
Could be.
Yeah.
No.
You're not like Steve Carell. the
No, I
40
was afraid I would be, but I finally got my first girlfriend. last
Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I had to draw my girlfriend. You know?
She came to life.
Andrew, just out of curiosity, how old are you?
I am gonna be 30 in July.
Oh, that's
okay,
young.
so he's a
I
young
guitar strings
fucker.
that old. Know what's good about it? No, drawing your own girlfriend, you can always erase her.
That's what I've done.
Ed's got underwear
Breaking up.
older than 30 years old.
If her boobs aren't big
I
enough,
was older.
if her boobs aren't big enough,
Job. Nah, there
Yeah.
we go.
or a cock.
Cheapest boob job ever.
I want to say hello to Mary DiFiore, one of our
Mary!
loyal
From
listeners.
Maine?
Hello, Mary. How are you?
She from New England, right?
And Steven
She's
again.
from the
Connecticut.
Boston.
Darlene.
Where?
Steve, I don't see them.
Steve,
but-
Darlene, they're on. Sandy.
Hello.
Oh, said hi.
Is Darlene taking pills again like last week? Because she was definitely on something. Because she was typing these strange answers, and Steve was typing them, and I'm like, one must be upstairs, the other one must be downstairs, and sure enough,
They were.
They just have full conversations during our show.
That was funny.
all right, Gene, let's get Rob Paulson on the phone. Give it a shot. We'll get him on. Right now, we're going to get Rob
Sure,
Paulson
Brandon.
on
You
the
gotta
phone.
look good in high heels.
Is he related to Pat Paulson or no?
I don't know. We're
Probably
going to
not.
ask him.
The common name. Paulson's a common name.
I think it's spelled differently, too. Hello, Rob.
Hi.
How are you? All
There
right,
we
everybody.
go.
It is 9:40. Joining us now live on the show is a phenomenal actor. You've seen and heard him in so many cartoons that there's too many to name, and he's taken a few minutes out of his busy schedule to be with us here tonight. Please welcome for the first time on the Animal House Radio Show, Mr. Rob Paulson.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
How you
How
doing?
you
sir?
doing?
We're doing good, Rob. How are you, sir?
Well, you know what? I'm breathing and I'm not in jail, but the day's not over yet. So far, so good.
Plenty of work ahead.
And just
plenty of room. It's only, 6:40 out here in Los Angeles, so I still got plenty of room to commit a felony, which I don't plan on doing because I'm at home, but you never know. So
Some of the best felonies are at home.
What's that?
Some of the best felonies are at home.
Yeah, just ask
There
O.J.
you go.
Simpson.
Ask
You
my
never
wife.
know. No, thank you very much for lowering your standards with respect to guests and having me on. I really appreciate it.
Not at all. I've enjoyed your stuff for many years, and just to let you know, it's all downhill from here.
And tell people who listen
There you go.
some of the voices he's done, so people know who you're talking to.
If for those of you who don't know, and I can't see that there be many, Rob was the voice of Pinky and Pinky and the Brain, Yakko Warner from Animaniacs, and he was Donatello
That's
on
right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Donatello.
Yes.
Well, Donatello now, but when you guys, probably before most of you were born, I was Raphael in the original batch. So you're talking to 50% of the Ninja Turtles and one
Wow.
little guy from
Nice.
We got a 2-for-1 special.
So you turn turtles.
Yeah.
So it's pizza day.
That's the best thing about this gig is nobody cares what I look like. You know, I got to be two different.
So
I
Rob,
got to be two different turtles with a 25-year gap, and it was it's been quite an amazing run. I'm a very, very fortunate fellow.
so Rob, since you played both Ninja Turtles, that means you played the shell game.
I did. Well said, boy. That's probably a felony right there.
Yeah.
In New York, it is. Yeah.
You know, it's great, man. I'm so incredibly fortunate, and the best part of what I do is getting a chance to talk with folks who have grown up watching and listening to these things that my friends and I have worked on for years, and
Right.
the ultimate thing that we all find at the end of whatever conversation or some sort of fan event is that it just makes everybody happy. It's a wonderful experience on both sides of the equation, man. I feel like I've won the lottery. It's just a gas.
Oh well, you know what? It's a pleasure for us to be able to see you bring all those characters to life. Hey Rob, I read somewhere that your acting career wasn't by design. You actually wanted to be a professional hockey player.
I did, but I learned. Fortunately for me, I learned quite early that I had neither the talent nor the temperament nor the dental insurance to make a dime as a hockey player.
So you put that career on ice.
Yeah, man, I grew up in Michigan and a big Red Wings fan and all of that, and so I played hockey and still go out there and bang around with my buddies. But I had the good fortune of getting a chance to possibly play in college, but within about 5 minutes, with people that play at a much higher level than high school, it was clear that I was out of my league. And to this day, I don't even know the name or the number of the kid that hit me from Winnipeg, but boy, he just absolutely drilled me, and I thought, okay, I got no business going any further. But fortunately, then I fell back on something very practical, like show business, and somehow that's all worked out. But I still, to this day, am a big sports fan, big hockey fan, and it's worked out just fine. I have zero about which to complain.
Right.
Dave, you had a question?
Yeah, hey, how are you? It's Dave Hodge here. What was it like auditioning for the part of Howard the Duck, and do you hope they reprise him in the MCU future?
That's an interesting thing you bring up, because that was a very, it was an odd circumstance. I remember myself, Townsend Coleman, who played Michelangelo in the original Ninja Turtles, and then he and I went on together to work on a really great cartoon show called The Tick. He was
Great
he was
yeah.
Michelangelo. I'm sorry, he was The Tick, and I was Arthur. But we had a ball, and I remember both of us got called to audition. And in those days, most auditions were in a studio in front of the producers and such. But in this case, it was like, we need you to come up to Lucasfilm, to Skywalker Ranch up in Marin County, and audition to picture. And I have to tell you, I don't think I was too far off the bat. When I got up there to audition, I thought it was going to be this really remarkable experience. And the experience of going to Skywalker Ranch was fantastic for
Yeah,
obvious reasons. But then when I saw, Howard on the screen, I thought, and I don't think I was too far off the mark. It looked like some guy in a duck suit. I mean, it was really not very. I was kind of like, well, this is.
It wasn't creative. It wasn't creative enough.
Yeah, this is ILM, and this is. I mean, it was. I have to be careful. I'm not trying to, cast aspersions on these remarkably gifted people. But in those days, it really. I just didn't think it was that great.
Right.
Certainly, my audition wasn't very great because I didn't get the gig, and I don't think Townsend did either. I'm not sure who it was that became Howard the Duck, but I don't know that it was a career-making show for the gentleman, and possibly even a career ender. So I've done my own. I've done my share of stuff that has not gone on to be very successful, as we all have, but.
Right.
That was, I remember now. I don't know that I've ever been asked about that, and it was a remarkably different experience. At least for the day I got to go up and hang out with some folks at ILM, so that was worth it.
Right.
We love Dave because he always answers the unasked questions. They're unique.
He's good at
Great, good for you, Dave.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
But Rob, let me ask you a question. When did you always do these voices as a kid, or how did the transition to acting come into play?
He's schizophrenic.
Yeah, I did. I think like most of the people who do, I do. Billy West, Maurice LaMarche, Frank Welker, Nancy Cartwright, Dan Castellaneta, Tress McNeil, all those people who have done really, really iconic animated characters. All of us have a traditional performance background. That is, in my case, it was music, and then I did stage work.
Right.
And Maurice was a stand-up comic. Tress was an improv girl. Billy West, a stand-up comic. Tom Kenny, who's SpongeBob.
Right.
Stand-up, improv. And so I was no different. When I came to L.A., it was ostensibly to do live action, and that's what I was doing. But that was this month. In fact, literally this month, it was 40 years ago that I came to L.A., and I didn't come out here to do animation. I came out here to work, whatever that meant. Animation, live action, commercials, music. And but I certainly had been inspired to do all sorts of character voices. In my case, it was the usual suspects: Dawes Butler, Mel Blanc, Jim Foray, et cetera, Paul Frees. But also, my heroes were Peter Sellers, Jonathan Winters, Red Skelton, Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball, all those folks.
Right.
So I was always creating characters, and because I was a singer before anything, I just used to love to sing in character, and that's something that often, of course, Mel Blanc did. Peter Sellers did that a lot, and it was the Pythons, same thing.
Yeah.
All very inspirational, and it turns out that being a total nut job between playing hockey, I was doing all these wacky things that 20 years later would end up, helping me pay the mortgage. So it was, and it was utterly not something I planned. Fortunate.
That's the best way. That's the way most things happen. That's the way it mostly happens.
I was wondering, has how they record the sound for these animations changed a lot? Because I know these days you hear about these A-list celebrities they record their bits and no one else is around and they come in different days. Right when you were doing this, did they record them all of you guys in a room doing this stuff, or did it was all recorded separately, or how does that work?
Ideally, it's the former. I much, and all of us much prefer being with the other actors. It just makes the whole vibe, to coin a hipster phrase, it makes the whole vibe way better. It's like any other acting job, and I say that because, as you just mentioned, there are a lot of traditional celebrity type actors coming in and doing lots and lots of animation now, and they, of course, and I have to say they always seem to prefer to be with the rest of us, but often their schedules don't allow them to fit into a particular production schedule with respect to an animated show. And so that's the beauty of this gig, is that you don't have to be with everybody else. But ideally, it's just way more fun. My God, if I don't even know how many times I've looked around at my peers and said, this is the frickin' show. This is the show. When you're in a room with John DiMaggio and Billy West and the cast of The Simpsons or Seth MacFarlane and his group. I mean, it's just, that's the show. These people are so gifted, so talented, utterly fearless. They try anything. and they're completely devoid of pretense. They're the nicest group of actors, and I've done, you know, a lot of work. I'm certainly more voice work, but both sides of the camera, and I have a lot of friends who are very famous. But I have to say that pound for pound, I don't know that I've ever worked with more purely gifted actors than voice actors, because they don't rely on anything but their skill. And
Right.
It's not about how they look or how big their boobs are, how tall they are, their muscles or whatever. It's just
Right.
about what they bring to the party. And so now we get a lot of really wonderful TV and movie celebrities who do animation. One of my favorite actors is David Tennant. I've liked David for years. And he did a 13-episode arc of Ninja Turtles, I think, 2 seasons ago. And it was really a gas for those of us who are fans of David's. But what was really exciting was to see this guy who is, you know, absolutely and deservedly so a celebrity actor. And
Right.
he could not have been more excited to be part of the TMNT experience. You know, it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. I get to be involved in Ninja Turtles. And it turns out that these franchises are just as big a deal to the TV and movie stars as they are to, you know, us C-listers. We had a blast.
Yeah. You know what, Rob, it's funny that you mentioned John DiMaggio, because we had him on a few months ago, and he's a Jersey guy. So I said,
oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he does one of my favorite characters on the Gears of War. He plays Marcus Phoenix. And
oh, right.
And he was totally, just as you expected, like, so, like, fun and very easygoing. I have to ask you, all the characters that you've done, is it the process is that you have to audition for everything, or they just said, hey, we want you, that's it, there's nobody, you know?
Well, yes and yes. I certainly, to get started, and by and large, when you're not a celebrity talent, it is about auditioning, and that's just the nature of the beast. I certainly get a lot more work given to me now than I used to, but I've been doing this now, animation specifically, for 35 years. So,
Wow.
And I've had arguably more than my share of pretty successful characters and shows. And, you know, make it clear, I don't draw them and I don't write them, you guys. I'm a very fortunate fellow, but I'm just an actor and a singer. And it is a deeply collaborative effort. And as a result of my, you know, getting a chance to play with these people at a really high level, between Pinky and Yakko and Raphael and Donatello and Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron, and now they do a show called Rick and Morty, and I played a character called Snowball, who's this talking little dog, and it's a wonderful gig, but it turns out now the people who were watching all these shows when they were growing up are now in the positions of power at Nickelodeon and Disney and Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network, and they all say, hey, I want to do this show, and I would love to have Rob Paulson and John DiMaggio and Nancy Cartwright, and of course we're happy to oblige, but it really is a lovely, kind of a wonderful way to finish up my career, have people take the time, like you guys, to say, you know what, we want to talk to this guy. It turns out he's like an old shoe. He's been around forever, and it turns out that when they put a name to the face, or a name to the character, you know, in my case and others, you find out that, wow, the same guy did this and this and this and this, and I happen to really like Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and Ninja Turtles. And so I'm having a ball, and the fact that people are taking the time to find out who the voices are of these remarkably successful franchises is really great. And I'm just amazingly humbled to be to be chatting with you folks.
Ed, you had a question?
Yeah, Rob, Ed Ruffalo here.
Yeah.
Funny little story here. My son had to be about, maybe he's like 28 now. He had to be about 8 years old, maybe 7. Halloween comes around. We ask him what he wants to be for Halloween. He actually picks Arthur.
Oh my God.
My ex-wife had to make him a full, like, with wings and the hood and everything.
Oh my God.
And he's walking around, and everyone's going, "Oh, aren't you a killer butterfly?" And he goes, "I'm not a butterfly, I'm a moth."
I'm Arthur. Oh my God! How great is that? You have a very precocious young man in your hands. I love that your kid was sharp enough to say, "I don't want to be the Tick.
Right.
I want to be the sidekick, as it were.
And the funny thing is, he still wears the outfit.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, well,
That's what I was going to say, Rob. He's lying to you. He was actually 23 when he did it.
well, you know what's funny is that you guys, people come up to me all the time. You know, I do a lot of appearances and conventions, and it's absolutely, you know, these conventions are great, man. They're springing up like zits on a 12-year-old. They're so ubiquitous, and it's a gas because it's a chance to go out and meet people face to face who have had this deep connection to so many characters I've had the pleasure of working on, and I never, ever, ever would have known the extent to which people love these characters. And often they have really wonderful stories, charming, sweet stories like you and your child about Arthur. But often we talk to people who say, "Oh my God, I did 3 tours in Iraq, and you know, I had a buddy I lost over there, and we used to watch Pinky and the Brain on DVD, and I just want to tell you what this meant." And I'm telling you guys, I mean, my father was in the military. I'm a big supporter. We all are. Yeah. And I'm Jesus, God Almighty, how on earth can you quantify that sort of compliment? And here's a young man who's tatted out, you know, the very best of us, and comes back and he thinks about his buddy, and their connection is Pinky and the frickin' Brain. How on earth? You know, how does it? That is just an amazing compliment, and that connection. And I would submit even your son, to this day, if he watches The Tick, he probably gets this really wonderful feeling and this excited, you know, remembering about the costume and the whole shooting match. Yeah, but never in a million years would we have known that connection. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with action figures. It is purely an expression of love on both sides of the equation. And man, what a gas! It's cool.
Yeah,
Dave.
Hey Ron, how are you? It's Dave Hodge again. No more tricks on this one. I just wanted to say 2 things. Similar to Ed, my son, thanks to Animaniacs, got to learn all the states and capitals as well as all the countries in the world.
Isn't that something? Well, you know what's fascinating, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the gentleman who wrote both of those and continues to write at an incredibly high level, his name is Randy Rogel, and Randy's a West Point grad, and we're hopefully looking forward to doing some stuff with the USO and all of that. But this guy Randy is from another freaking planet. The phrase genius gets banned, or the word genius gets bandied about a lot in our business. But I'm telling you, when you look at this guy, virtually every song that folks know from Animaniacs, including the countries and the states and the capitals and the presidents, and it's all Randy. And he still does it. Matter of fact, Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain are coming back in fall of 2020, thanks to Mr. Spielberg and the folks at Hulu. And Randy's already written a few songs for that.
Nice.
And that really, truly is genius. And look, I'm good at my job. You know, I've been doing this a long time. But the trick with Yakko's World especially, LA's full of great singers. But writing that stuff is a completely different story.
Right.
And Randy is the real deal. And to this day, man, people lose it when I go out there and start doing United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru. They go nuts. And it's the most wonderful experience. And Randy even wrote a new lyric, because we always have people come up, kind of smartasses, who say, that song is really no longer valid because a lot of countries are gone. And I said, oh, well, okay. So Randy had an extra 7 minutes on a Wednesday and thought, I'll write a new lyric. So now he wrote an updated lyric to add that we always we travel around the country doing the music of Animaniacs live with orchestras. Or we were just in New York at Joe's Pub with Randy, me, and a piano for 8 shows, and we had an absolute blast. The audience loved it. And so at the end of the show, we do Yakko's World, and we tack on this new lyric, which enumerates the countries that have sprung up since that song was written. And it's a gas. And there's no, again, as I said earlier, man, there's no downside to it. It just makes everybody happy, including us. It's wonderful.
Gisela?
Hi, Rob. This is Gisela. I have a question.
Hi.
If somebody wanted to get involved in voiceovers, what advice would you give them to get started?
Well, if they want to do what I do, and the people whom we've discussed, like DiMaggio and those guys, it's really about acting. And I would suggest that. All of us, it was not nearly, of course, there wasn't nearly as much voice work and product necessary as there is now, because there are just cartoons everywhere. Right. But when all of us began performing for the sake of it. Now, what's happening a lot now, Gisela, is that there are folks who meet all of us and say, I understand how you and all the other folks got their start, but the fact is, with video games and animation and new stuff that's coming out and new platforms, I really want to be a voice actor. I want to concentrate on voice work. So I get that. It's still about the acting.
Right.
So I would always, the main thing I would encourage people to do is take improv classes, study improv, you guys do radio, being able to think on your feet, somebody throws you a curve and you run with it, and you're not afraid to try it. You're not paralyzed with, oh my God, what if I screw up? That skill set is really important in being able to create iconic, organic characters that people like for decades, because it's like any other acting job. It's honest, it's authentic, and it's the way characters work. There are also two really great resources that are free. Another wonderful actor, voice guy named D. Bradley Baker, has a website. It's very simple. It's called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. And there's really, really wonderful real-time information from a guy who does it every day out here in Hollywood. He cites all of us and our relative backgrounds. He answers questions, and he did it specifically for folks like you were referencing, Gisela.
Yeah.
Also, if I can be so shameless plug, but it's free. I've been doing a podcast for years that has gone on to be really successful, and it's only because of the people who participate. The usual suspects, the folks we've just been discussing, and new people that come along. It's called Talkin' Tunes, TALKIN 'TOONS, and that's what we do. We talk tunes, and it's all of these remarkably gifted actors, producers, writers, composers, and I've worked with all of them. And the ones I haven't, they all have worked with somebody else, and they all know me. And so they come in and we talk about exactly that. And everybody from celebrity talent, Terry Elwes and Brad Garrett and Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy and Sean Astin and Seth Green, and all these people who do animation and they're celebrities, to the guys in the trenches like me and Frank Welker and Maurice LaMarche and Tress MacNeille and Jennifer Hale and Tara Strong, all the people that everybody listening would know one or two of the characters of the people that I'm talking about. So they can find that on iTunes, and there is a paid version, which is an on-camera version on Nerdist and ProjectAlpha.com.
Nice.
It's like, I don't know, $4 a month, which is you see the people come out, and there is something magical about seeing people do their voices. It's really cool. But for folks who would prefer not to pay for it, there's an audio version. It's a little truncated. It's not quite as long, but it's free and on iTunes. And so check out Talkin' Tunes and I want to be a voiceactor.com. It's all really good real-time information, and cool. We're doing it still every day. And so at least you're talking to people who know what they're doing, and they've been doing it since the 70s and in some cases the 60s, and we're doing it every day right now. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Great, yeah.
I have Rob, I have a question. This is Paul Veneer.
Hi, Paul.
I have a two-part question for you. How you doing, sir? What was your favorite character to play of all time, and also what was your favorite project to work on?
Great. Well, the first question, my favorite character to play is the next one, because it means I'm working.
Right.
Honestly, if I had to pick one, you guys are talking to a lottery winner, and let me just tell your audience, thank you very, very much for paying attention. It is not lost on all of us who are lucky enough to do this, just that, how lucky we are. We really get how fortunate we are to do something that we would essentially do for free, and people are nice enough to pay us. Moreover, people are nice enough to pay attention and tell us that. Right. But if I had to make a choice out of all these wonderful things I've gotten to do, it's pretty tough to not want to do Animaniacs, because if Ninja Turtles changed kind of my career trajectory, Animaniacs changed my life, because it was in Steven Spielberg, it's a 40-piece orchestra, it's Warner Brothers, it's Tom Ruger, who created the show, and people who are my friends before we got the gig, and we ended up doing something that has really touched a lot of people, and we're now doing it again. So Pinky and the Brain spun off of Animaniacs. So I got to do Yakko and Pinky and even another character on that show called Dr. Scratch and Sniff. And anytime you can do something that brings that much joy to people, and you do it with Steven, and you do it with a 40-piece orchestra, and I got to sing, I don't know, 50 songs in that show.
Oh, wow.
You hit the trifecta on that one.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah, it just does not get any better. On the other hand, I got to do Two Ninja Turtles with a 25-year gap, and it's arguably as popular now as it was when my son dug it in, the early 90s.
Right, right.
I'm it'd be a tough call, but the whole experience with Animaniacs at that level, with those players, with all the traditional Warner Brothers stuff, the music and the big deal and the huge fan base and the fact that it's the Warner Brothers studio, all of it, that always suggests Bugs and Daffy and Mel Blanc and all of that, and those are timeless. So anytime you can be part of that whole experience, it just really doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
Rob, let me ask you, this is Carlo again.
Yeah.
Getting back, a couple of things. I wanted to backtrack a little bit. We were talking about how Dave was mentioning how he learned the states of the U.S. by the capitals and stuff. You know what? Even though when I grew up in the 70s and 80s, I watched a lot of cartoons, and we actually did learn something back then, like with the Electric Company and the Sesame Street.
Jailhouse Rock.
I learned to spell and all that stuff, and it's even though it was like a cartoon, you actually did. I can't say about now, but I know back then I actually did learn something, and I carried a lot of it around for me going into my adulthood, remembering that stuff, and it was very helpful.
Of course, and I remember I just heard Gisela kind of throw in Schoolhouse Rock. Same thing, man. That's really good stuff. And if you're able to do something that is really entertaining and educational and funny and and gets good ratings and all of that, that's exactly the way you want to be. The number of people who come up now to me and say, "Wow, I now watch Animaniacs with my kids, and I at 30 get jokes I didn't get at 10."
That's true.
And they hold up beautifully. And my kids love saying, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Columbus is the capital of Ohio. They get a kick out of it, and then the grown-ups say, and you know what? That's really great stuff.
Right.
And it is. It's brilliant. And it's utterly timeless. Good stuff is good stuff.
And at the end, Rob, Carlo's lying. He still can't spell.
No, you want to? No. I gotta say, I never toot my own horn, but I gotta say, I was 4 or 5 years ahead of myself with reading comprehension, growing up in spelling, and I was born with a magnetic
and
memory.
that's violins in the background.
Well, listen, that is all great stuff. And when, for instance, my son now is 30, almost 34, and I'm so grateful for, obviously, that he came along, but my son, when he was a kid, really liked watching Sesame Street, the Muppets, Big Bird, and I'd happy to watch the Muppets. It's fantastic.
Right.
It's smart. It's written on different levels, just like Animaniacs, just like Looney Tunes, on purpose.
And it was harmless.
Yes, and it was absolutely designed. The edict from Mr. Spielberg was exactly that. We're going to do what they do with Muppets, what they do with Looney Tunes. We are absolutely not going to condescend to the audience. We are going to assume they get it, whether it's now or in 20 years. And it clearly worked.
That's
true. My son loved watching that stuff, and I was happy to watch it with him. With all due respect, if my son had come along a little later and wanted to watch Barney and Teletubbies, oh, Jesus, I'd have put a gun in my mouth.
Yeah,
I
agree.
And I, don't get me wrong, I get why they work. I understand the rudimentary nature of what it is that makes them help children learn. However, the magic of something like Looney Tunes or the Flintstones or Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain or Muppets or The Incredibles and all is that you can watch them with your kids and you both get a laugh. And,
right, exactly
and they're
right.
smart.
Right.
And they're timeless. And that is a big, big deal.
That's funny.
Obviously, I'm grateful to be part of it. But what can be better? When I have people now who are in their 40s and 50s, and they say, my kids and my grandkids sit around watching Ninja Turtles and Jimmy Neutron.
True.
How great is that?
Yeah, that's a testament to your work, Rob.
Oh man, well, being part of it, yeah, it's a blast.
I got to ask you, Rob. The voiceover business it's very tight knit community, and it's a very tough veil to crack. And I got to ask you, I mean, you've hit the mother lode, like you said earlier. You hit the jackpot as far as that's concerned. You have almost 500 credits on IMDb. You have conquered that field, and it's a very lucrative field too. Do you ever say to yourself, you know? And I know you're happy to be working in the union. All actors, whether it be voice acting or regular actors, they all want to work. Do you ever say to yourself, hey, you know, guys, I could do other things too here?
Well, you know, I do, and I'm starting to do that. What I'm doing now is creating shows and producing and taking a lot of pitch meetings because, as I said earlier, the folks who were kind enough to watch and listen are now in positions of power at Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Apple,
That's awesome.
Nickelodeon, and they know everything I've worked on. In fact, there's a new iteration of Ninja Turtles coming out for Nickelodeon on this fall, and I'm directing it. And
wow.
I didn't ask to do it. They came to me, and you know, Nickelodeon is part of Viacom, which is certainly a big outfit, and they said, "Look, here's the deal. We don't know of anybody who, as an actor, who knows more about this franchise, and we would like to do a new one. Would you be interested in directing it?" And I stopped for a moment and said, "Yeah, I really would." Only because, as you said, it's another avenue to try, and I love challenging myself. I really don't want to get to a point where I just kind of rest on my laurels and say, you know, I got this figured out. I can do it like falling off a log. That's the point at which I think it's time to move over. I want to continue to get better. So when I say to people, there are other things I can do, it's not out of a sense of frustration. It's a sense out of wanting to sort of up my game and continue to get better. And the examples I have are kind of all around me. The people with whom I work continue to do that as well. They're very inspirational. They just happen to be some of my best friends, but they always get better. On Monday, I was doing Curious George for I think it's Hulu, and you know, Frank Welker is the voice of George, but Frank's 10 years older than I. Frank is Megatron on Transformers. He's Freddy on Scooby-Doo, and he's now the voice of Scooby-Doo. And he's been doing it since the 60s. But he's also, you know, he was Abu the monkey in
Aladdin.
Aladdin, yeah. And the lion roars and Simba and all that stuff. In Lion King, but he's remarkably talented. But and I've worked with him, I don't know, 200 times, and every time he opens his mouth, it's just magical. Yeah. And we all try to get better. But you know, it's also on an even bigger level. When you take a gentleman like Mr. Spielberg, I've had the good fortune of working with him on Tiny Toons, on Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs, Freakazoid, Amazing Stories, E.T. God, I worked on so many things with him and his crew. But here he is at, I don't know, early 70s now. And I was watching the documentary that premiered earlier this year on HBO entitled simply Spielberg. And it's about 2 hours, obviously, about his life. And it starts out with a young Steven Spielberg saying, I really think every director should be an animator because it really shows you that you should not be limited by the physical nature of what you can do on film. It helps you expand your imagination. And then halfway through it, there's a minute and a half of Pinky and the Brain, surrounded by, E.T. and Jaws and Schindler's List and AI and you name it. But it was important enough to Mr. Spielberg to include this nice chunk of an animated show in which Maurice and I happen to be involved. And that's a big deal, obviously, to me, but it's a big deal to that art form. It shows people that even the man who is inarguably the king of Hollywood, that this is important, and he's always looking for another way to blow an audience away. And so here he is and says, you know what, Hulu, I think we should do more Pinky and the Brains and Animaniacs. And I love that. It obviously, I have a vested interest, but what that does in terms of inspiring actors like myself and young people to say, wow, here's a guy who can do whatever he wants. It's not about the money. It's not about all this stuff. He's already etched his name in pop culture forever. But he wants to do more cartoons. And more specifically, a reboot of cartoons that were important to him 20 years ago. Right. That says a lot for continuing to try to up your game, and that it's always about striving to get better and better and better.
Oh, wow. Dave?
Well, I mean, first, that would make sense just because it's just like storyboarding your picture anyway. So that's why I guess it would make a lot of sense if you're doing that. So it's total common sense. But I did have I had one question for you. Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
Well, I think so, Dave. But if Jimmy cracks corner, nobody cares. Why do you keep doing it? No.
I had a question. Do you get to pick your own voice? So when they have the show written out, they tell you what kind of voice they want out of you?
It's kind of both. When we get a rendering of the characters, we generally also get a bit of a breakdown of what the character's about and the relationship with other characters in the context of the story. So we all have ideas, and then, of course, the writers and producers also have their ideas, and it's generally an amalgam of all of that input. And then, as you can probably imagine, the voices change after a while. If you listen to the first few seasons of The Simpsons, and then sort of season 10 or 12, they kind of settle into a vibe and a rhythm, and they change a bit. You listen to Bugs and Daffy and Tweety from the 50s, and then from the 70s, they're different. Part of that is Mr. Blank getting older. Part of it is they find a comfort zone where the writers and the actors, hit a sweet spot. And the same is true with characters I've done. But generally, it's a combination of all of that. And if you're really, really lucky, the animation works with the voice, works with the writing, works with the kind of music and stuff, and then it's just effortless. Like the best athletes, like the best painters, like the best musicians, it really becomes effortless, and it becomes effortless because of all the hard work and experience that is involved to make it look that way. And so when you go see, whether it's Justin Timberlake move across the floor, or Michael Jackson, or Eric Clapton, or Stephen Curry, or Alexander Ovechkin, it doesn't matter. When you see people perform at a high level, it looks like it's falling off a log for them. That's because they put in their 10,000 hours. That's what it is,
I think of Robin Williams because he did
God.
different.
And in fact, his daughter Zelda has become a really good friend, and she's just a sweet little girl, really talented, and she's now, as I mentioned, I'm directing Ninja Turtles, and she's been on the new show, and she'll be out this fall. But what a blast! And she is so delightful.
That's so
smart, so respectful, deferential, and has a deep love and admiration for her father. But you know what she has that her father also had is this innate sense of humor is probably too light a word, an innate sense of joy. That is, it's this really happy, smart sense of joy that is just obvious when she opens her mouth. She's so smart, and she gets the joke on such a high level. It's got to be genetic, because she's probably in her mid-20s, late 20s, so she's not an old, person. But I'm telling you, the way she just walks in and gets the joke, and it's done with utter joy, is something that her father had, and it's absolutely innate. And I'm so glad you brought him up, because he's
my favorite.
Oh man, what a blast to have been able to watch him. But he was inspired by Jonathan Winters, who was one of my inspirations, and I got to work with Jonathan 8 or 10 times in my career, and talk about a mind-blowing experience. You just go, I want to do that. Phil Hartman was a close friend, and Phil was like Mr. Winters in that he was terrifyingly inspiring. At the same time that they'd open their mouths, and you'd go, oh my God, I can never do that. Then the other part of you says, yeah, but I want to in my way. So I'm going to pay attention to what those people do, and I'm going to figure out how to do that in my context. And Phil was exactly the same way. And I remember working with Phil and Jonathan at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And it was cool to watch Phil watch Jonathan. And Robin if you watch Robin and Jonathan together and watch them riff on, YouTube videos, you can tell this incredible respect and deference that Jonathan had for Robin. I mean, vice versa. And it was so cool to see this master teaching the student, and ultimately the student surpassed the master, and that's the way it should be. It was remarkable.
That's amazing. Rob, I can't tell you how amazing it was to have you on the show today. I mean,
oh, thank you.
We could sit and have you on for hours. Anybody have any last questions before we get out of here?
Actually, I got one.
Andrew, go ahead.
This is Andrew, the intern here. You mentioned before about all these talented people as voice actors, including yourself. For somebody trying to break into that, such as myself, would you say that it's more difficult because people who grew up with these cartoons, who are now in charge of these studios and companies, and they have a knack for picking their favorites that they heard growing up, would you say it's harder for new talent to come in?
Well, Andrew, I'm so glad you asked that. And let me qualify your question. I hesitate to use the word hard because that suggests a struggle. And remember, when you're an actor, you choose to be an actor, or like an athlete. Nobody that I know has ever had anybody shove a gun at their head and said, you got to be an actor. This is utterly my choice. And even when it's not going well, I have at the end, that hackneyed phrase now, at the end of the day, of that particular day, I sort of take solace in the fact that I'm doing exactly what I want to do. Nobody forced me to do it, the good and the bad, and to be sure, I've had more good. But in terms of it being more difficult, I don't know that that's the case. In fact, there's more opportunity now than there's ever been, simply because there are more outlets.
True.
All of the new pay platforms are looking for product, whether it's live action or animation, and God knows what's coming. Andrew, I don't know how old you are, but I'm pretty old, and by the time you get to be my age, the stuff that you guys are going to see, I really can't even imagine.
Right.
And that also goes hand in hand with being able to be creative and have input on that type of stuff and create your own stuff. So I would say no. I don't think it's any more challenging than it's ever been. I think, like everything else, that it's there are always going to be more actors and performers and writers than there will be jobs for them to fill.
It's all timing and luck.
Yes, and you know what else? It's that phrase, and I'm a living example, and I can tell you this as an expert, you guys. I am a living example of the luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And what that means, and I've done it over and over and over again, and I can speak on behalf of the people that we've been talking about today. What happens is you have all this preparation, and then you put yourself, whether it's in New York or Chicago or LA or who knows, but when you choose whatever field you want to be, you put yourself in a position to be lucky. Mm-hmm. You put yourself in a position to have your 10,000 hours, to have worked and worked and worked and worked. So when the opportunity comes up and it's a high heat right over the plate, and you go, oh my God, this is my pitch, and I am so ready for it, and then all of a sudden you're, quote, lucky, close quote. Mm-hmm. But honest to God, that's what it's about. It's not about being fearful of the number of people who want to do it. That's the way it's always been. And you know what? To keep the performances and to keep the level high and the end product high, so the quality high, so people can enjoy it at a really high level, it should be that way. We should want to have competition. You know, the thing that that makes us all get better is looking around going, oh my God, that guy's terrific. or oh my God, that guy leaped over somebody to dunk that basketball, or that guy did. Elon Musk did something that is mind blowing. How do I do that? It is about competition, and it is about trying to get better. It doesn't mean we want to denigrate the other. It means we want to learn from them. And so I submit that when you are inspired and you kind of go, you get to the point where you go, I don't give a damn what the numbers are. I'm inspired to really swing for the fences in whatever circumstance I choose. And that's the point at which you say it's not really about the numbers or how difficult it is. It's about me taking my shot. And so I appreciate you letting me pontificate, but that's kind of how I feel, and I really appreciate you giving me the time to pontificate.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Rob, before we let you go, would you do us a small favor?
Of course. Absolutely.
I wonder, Gene, why do we have an echo here?
His volume's turned up really loud.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No. Rob, before you go, would you do a station ID for us?
Of course.
All right. Basically, what you're going to say is, you're listening. You know, introduce yourself, and
Okay.
you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Okay, the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Right, and if you want to throw in a bonus. My favorite character of yours was Pinky. So if you want to do something,
great.
If you want to do something with him, that's up to you.
Absolutely. Are you guys rolling?
Yes. When you're ready, count yourself down and go.
Okay. Animal House Radio on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Dad, this is Pinky of Pinky the Brain. And when Brain and I are not taking over the world, we listen to Animal House Radio on the Hamilton Radio Network.
No. Ready? Okay,
Nice.
all right. I got a couple more here. Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, genius listeners. Yakko Water here. Listen, do you know the only show we listen to in the water tower on the Warner Brothers lot? That's right, Animal House Radio, right here on the Hamilton Radio Network.
That's great. And let's see here. Okay, I got one more. 3, 2, 1. Turtle Power! This is Raphael of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm down here in the sewer. Guess what we listen to while we're eating pizza? That's right. Animal House Radio, right here on the Hamilton Radio Network. Cowabunga!
Wow.
Yes. Rob, you are amazing. God bless you. And I just
Not
want
at all, you guys.
I want you to know that anytime you need to come on, you
have an open door.
You have an open invite. Consider yourself
Carlos not
family.
mad at you.
Yes. Consider
Well,
yourself
thank
a
you.
friend of the show.
You guys really have been very delightful, and clearly I have no trouble speaking. And I know I have a tendency to ramble, but you guys have been so kind, and thank you very much for giving me so much time and paying attention. And anytime that you want to have me back, please feel free to call. It's a blast, and I'll probably talk to you again when Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain are coming back. It'll be a pretty big deal, and it'd be lovely to chat with you folks.
Oh, absolutely. We
It'll
will
be great,
keep you
but
in
even
mind.
sooner too.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And continued success, and you're one of the
Thanks, guys.
family now. And give I did already.
We did the open door.
All right, give him a round of applause. Rob Paulson, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Great talking to you.
Thanks, kids. You take care. Have a great evening.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye
Take care.
bye.
All right.
That was awesome.
I didn't get to ask about the Mask animated series. He did the voice on that too.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
That's
Although,
cool.
you know, my favorite thing, my son pointed out to me, that whole, the places of the world, the countries of the world.
Right.
They did an updated version of that. Some wise ass did that. But it has it where every place where the U.S. has ever bombed someone.
Oh, no.
So it just shows you're blowing up those countries.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
So every country.
That's kind of funny.
I never knew he was Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
I never knew. That's so funny.
No, I think he
So,
was.
Andrew, what you
somebody on
think?
Jimmy.
He was on Jimmy Neutron.
Oh,
Yeah, not Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right.
You want to riddle me this?
Let's do the. Hold on. We got to set
see what
this
it
up.
says.
Let me just make sure it's
Let's
not
see.
blowing us out
They're
here.
all blank.
So,
Hold on. Where is it?
Paul, there's
Riddle me this!
Okay. What kind of cup has holes in it when it's new, designed to withstand heavy beating, and should never be used for drinking.
An athletic supporter.
Athletic, yeah.
Very good. You guys are on the ball here.
Well, no,
Literally.
on the balls.
Literally on the ball.
When you said holes in it, I kind of thought of the cup.
Don't drink out of it. It tastes funny.
Okay, ready? Imagine that you're trapped inside a windowless building with nothing but a box of matches, 3 candles, a ceramic mug.
And open doors.
The flood waters are rising and are currently up to your neck. The door is hopelessly locked and there is no one within 500 miles of you. How can you get out of this situation?
Wait.
Don't go in the room.
And you guys have the paper in front of you, so if you need to read over
Yes.
it. Go ahead.
Imagine that you're
I don't.
inside a windowless building with nothing but a box of matches, 3 candles, and a ceramic mug.
If
Mary, do you have a clue?
If you're Ed, you drink all the water like the guy did in Strange Brew.
Yes, and then he could put out the candles.
Just drink a lot of water.
Yeah, drink.
Drink a lot of water? Okay. And
You light the matches and set off the fire alarm.
no.
No, then you get more water.
Yeah,
Andrew,
just
you want to take a
just die
guess?
quicker. I'm wondering if it has something to do with evaporation, but I really don't know.
Yeah, because a box of matches is going to evaporate
That's why.
What about-
5,000 gallons of water.
What about you? No filter, Paul. What about you?
I know the answer.
What is it?
Call somebody. You got
No.
a fucking cell phone, don't you?
Nope.
Wait,
No, but you
can
can do 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, and they can come by because it's 2 if by sea with the water rising.
Thank you, Mr.
Can you
Revere.
melt the candles in the ceramic mug?
You guys give up?
Can you melt the candles in the ceramic
No.
mug and then plug up the holes with the wax?
No.
But that's a good idea.
That is a great
yeah,
idea.
it is.
Are the flood waters outside of the building if they're rising?
Possibly, but you're in a windowless building.
So what does it matter then? The water's never going to come in.
How did
Slipping
the
in.
water? Wait, if it's
But it's already up
windowless.
to your neck.
Yeah, but it was going to come in. There's no windows.
Yeah, how
You
did the
can see through the
water?
floor.
It's going to be a stupid answer, Dave, so just guess.
Yes, so just guess.
Open the garage door.
Ed, you have any?
Open the door. We have an open door policy here. Just open the fucking
Prepare
door.
for a new colonic.
All right, you guys give up?
Door's locked.
Yes.
Call the comedy tornado. That'll get the water
How
out.
about,
A roof on the...
how about you
window?
just stop imagining?
Oh, you're retarded. What is this shit?
What's the answer?
Yeah, that's retarded.
Stop imagining.
Stop
Oh,
imagining.
see, that's,
So John Lennon came in and fixed it?
that's, not, that's not right. Imagine there's no windows.
I can't believe we read all that for that one word at the start.
Exactly.
Imagine there's no windows.
Here's a quick
Number
one.
3.
How did Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune make up the solar system?
They go around the sun.
Does it have something to do with Pluto not being on there?
Dude, there's not a planet anymore. You didn't know that?
Well,
No, they made it a planet again.
Did they?
Yeah.
I thought it was a dog on Disney Channel.
Yeah, right.
both.
How the
So it's Goofy.
You found them up Uranus.
make up? How did they make up? The key word here is make up.
Yes.
They tighten their asteroid belt.
You put them on the roof of your house and you get electricity for free.
What they did is they got 3 candles, some matches, and a ceramic mug.
Imagine that.
I imagine this is a stupid fucking question.
They all applied mascara. It says makeup. I don't know.
You guys give up?
Yeah.
Yes.
They plan it.
Did you get that off like an ice lolly stick?
That's not a riddle. That's like
That's like a kid's
It's
ice cream
riddle me
stick,
this.
that, right?
Okay.
Isn't it? Jesus.
And I thought you guys were going to get that one.
Look at
That
that
was the
riddle.
easy one.
And James-
Okay, ready?
She's gonna got all these questions off of
Wait a minute,
Animaniacs.
Wait a minute. Guess who's the only one laughing? Gene.
He finally gets to laugh at you animals.
I got that joke on my new T-shirt.
He was laughing at us making fun of you, Giselle. You know
Okay,
that.
number 4. Nobody makes fun of me. Remember that. If you do, you could step. Okay. I am hot, sometimes soft, sometimes hard.
Sounds like me.
Sometimes
a
runny
dick.
and
It's a
loose.
dick answer.
And sometimes I float, sometimes I sink. But whatever I form, I take on. I always go out and never in. What am I?
An egg.
A turd.
No.
I'm out.
A faucet.
A vowel. I is a vowel.
And you have to be technically correct for this answer. by the way.
Syllables.
Poop.
Very good. Poop.
Oh, poop. Okay. Oh,
See?
sorry. See?
You had to be. You had to be technically correct, so he got the hint.
Turd works too.
All right. What do you get when you combine Brazil nuts, Chinese chestnuts, and American beech nuts?
Quite a few illegal people.
A bunch of nuts.
Weird coffee.
Mixed nuts. Mixed nuts.
Mixed nuts. Very good. Okay, see, he got one. I have branches, sometimes a few.
You're a bank.
Don't
works
fuck
for a
up my
bank.
answer. You have to
I
wait
work
for me
at
to
a-
read
At
it.
least let her read it.
Okay? That's
do
it.
I
I'm
know
I'm
that?
about to kick you in your nuts.
Is that the next question?
I have branches, sometimes a few, and other times 100 or more. I have no fruit, trunk, or leaves. What am I? You already said it. A bank.
Bank.
Don't be a fucking poopy head.
A turdy head?
Okay?
No self-control.
Don't be a hot, sometimes soft, sometimes hard.
Don't be a hot because you have
All right, go back to cleaning.
Sicilian here.
No, don't mind Paul. He's just an old sod.
All right.
There you go.
What books do teenagers and millennials love the most and voluntarily spend hours looking for?
Playboy.
Very good. He got it, Dave.
Facebook.
Okay. I can be any shape. I can be a surprise to your loved ones. Just fill me up and make sure to hold me tight so I won't fly away or get away. What am I?
A minority girlfriend.
A balloon.
A hug.
Very good, Carlo.
A hug?
You got one.
Oh, balloon?
Woo!
Yeah, I got one. Yay, I'm smart.
Hey!
Ed, are you ready for...
Jesus Christ,
Wade the
yes.
F out there, news.
All right, now, Andrew, this is Ed's segment of the week. It's called the Way the F Out There News. What it is we give him a couple of news stories, and they're so outlandish, but they're very, very true. So,
Okay.
So let's do that.
That's the scary part.
Allegedly.
Ed, you ready?
Ready when you are.
All right, everybody, it's time for your favorite segment of the evening with your big kahuna himself, Ed Ruffalo, with the Way the F Out There News.
School aide filmed as he masturbated in front of ShopRite cashier and cops. An aide who worked with special ed students at a New Jersey elementary school masturbated in a ShopRite, exposed himself to students in the school hallways, and took upskirt photos of a student, police said.
Let's clean up in aisle 3, please. Clean up in aisle 3.
He also reportedly filmed himself in front of the students. Kenneth Palmer, 21 of Randolph.
There's an open mic there, right?
Oh,
That guy.
jerk it off. Come on. How does everybody miss that?
It's at the pizza pub.
He's from Lyndhurst.
No, he's of Randolph.
Yes,
Who worked
I know, that's why I said it.
who worked at Jefferson Elementary School in the Maplewood South Orange
Maplewood, shocker.
School District.
Libs.
Was scheduled for a court appearance Monday morning, according to NJ.com. He was first arrested September 28, 2017, at the Succasunna ShopRite.
Perfect.
Succasunna?
In Roxbury.
You didn't masturbate. You gotta be a sucker son.
After a loss prevention associate twice saw him masturbating and tried to get the attention of a 22-year-old female
Up your
cashier,
nose to rubber hose.
according to a police report. They waited for the second time.
They thought it was mayonnaise the
Well,
first
he was
time.
really quick the first time.
I'm sure he got the attention he wanted.
Palmer's cell phone was investigated after his arrest, and police allegedly found upskirt pictures of female employees at the local ShopRite. The phone also contained videos and photos of Palmer masturbating. Excuse me, my news is interrupting Paul's baseball game.
Yankees won 7-5.
Masturbating in the frozen fruit section of the ShopRite while singing Foreigner's Cold as Ice as horrified shoppers watched in disbelief.
OMG.
That's why his dick was stiff.
The Village Green published a copy of a letter sent from the superintendent of schools to the Jefferson School community in April, noting that Palmer worked in the district from February 2017 until September 2017, and that the district was notified of his arrest in December. Otherwise, there was little information available about Palmer's work history. The school district in February 2017 announced the resignation of Palmer and also said Foreigner gave him a tote bag.
See, Carlo, even he got a tote bag.
Yeah, I'm the only one that doesn't.
That's because
get
he's
one.
hands-on.
Yeah, now you know how to get one.
You gotta palm it.
Clean it up with
Patent leather shoes.
you clean it up with palm olive.
Despite the interference, that you did a bang-up job. Go ahead. What's
I
the
get
next
it, bang up.
Staples warehouse found inside inmate's birth canal.
Staples warehouse.
Pencils, staples, and paper clips were discovered inside a female inmate this week,
Ew.
according to a Georgia sheriff's office. The writing utensils were captured in a snap. Fuck.
Yes.
Was that Snapchat? No, I'm looking.
The prison guard had lead in his pencil.
That's a C. That's just 3 O's in a row.
Scoop? No.
So read it how you see it.
Cool.
Look, I'm getting advice from the fucking intern.
Let me see.
You don't know how to read?
Don't you have to like run the vacuum round or something?
What is it? Let me see it.
Look. It's like O-O-O, but it's O-C-O.
It's O-O-O, it's magic.
Oh, what's the name? That's the name of the county where it had Ocano.
It is Jerkoff County Sheriff's Office, put on Facebook Thursday.
County, Florida.
This morning, a female inmate came to us from Emmanuel County State Pen. The Sheriff's Office said, per policy, we searched her and pulled this out of her birth canal.
They had to pull it out, huh?
Well, it's always good to pull out.
Yeah, I guess.
Upon arrival at the detention facility, the female prisoner, affectionately known as Big Mama, kept marking and dancing around inside the holding cell, remarking how her pussy was a staple of the community.
Nice. Did it meow? No, okay.
According to the Sheriff's Department, those specific items can be improvised into tools to open handcuffs. Pens and pencils and markers, because she could, I guess.
She could have.
Who the hell wrote this?
Did she call it her pencil box?
One person said in part, I've worked around jails and prisons. I've never heard of a black market for pencils. The Sheriff's Office chimed in. They are used for tattoos as well. Mix the lead with spit or water, and you can knock out a prison tat.
Ew.
Even though cash is not allowed inside prisoners, but all this other stuff apparently is, often use those items in exchange for commissary items.
They told her, get the lead out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. You
And
did a
that's
great
that.
job.
Wow. Wow.
That was definitely way the
Some
F out
strange
there.
stories there.
Yes, before we get out of here now, we got to take a vote. We're going to go around the room. Gisela, does Andrew stay or does he go?
Oh.
It's up to Andrew, isn't it?
No, I know. I'm just
I
kidding.
say.
He's fired.
Oh.
He interrupted my story. He's fired.
Everybody interrupted.
All right, so we have one yay and one nay. Paul?
Definitely a yay. It's up to him, though.
I'm a yay. Dave?
I'm not done torturing him yet.
So that's a yay.
It's nice to have a new toy.
Yeah.
I think he should do some more interning. He's been sat here on the show for like 99% of the show.
I
He hasn't
say
been
He
doing-
turned in from that desk to this one.
I say we just hired a damn intern.
And now proxy, you're Shay's proxy, Paul, so what do you say?
give him another week before he quits.
Okay.
Oh,
So, Andrew, what do you think so far?
fun. Sounds good.
All right, do you think you can hang in with us for a
You
while?
think you
So
can
you're able
handle,
to
you
hang
think
in
you
with
can handle these
17 other
animals?
shows by
As long as the food keeps coming. As long as the food keeps coming.
Gene, what do you think?
And I'll keep showing up.
All right, everybody, give a round of applause for the new intern, Andy C.
He's much nicer than the old intern.
Yeah. What was the old intern?
We didn't have one.
He's down under.
He moved out of the hole in the floor.
He's in Theodore Jigget's studio.
Dave, you got plugs?
Yes, tomorrow night, Piano Fight Club, San Francisco. See you there.
I thought that was your real
Friday night.
Friday night, wasn't it?
Friday night.
I'm ahead of myself.
Uncomfortably Funny Podcast.
Uncomfortably Funny Podcast off for 2 weeks.
Off
We'll be
for-
back after 4th of July.
Oh, a little hiatus there, huh?
A little vacation.
Paul, what about you?
Dysfunctional
Team Radio.
Podcast Fridays on Facebook or dysfunctionalpodcast.com. And 3rd of July, I'm going to be in the Nasty Show with Johnny Hollywood and a few others at Scotty's
Anthony
Comedy Cove.
Cristoso.
Yeah, him, that guy. Oh, and Brendan
Definitely.
fucking Jones.
Oh my God. What
Wow.
day of the week is that, Paul?
Tuesday, the day before
Yep,
4th of July.
Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Are you coming?
Tuesday the 3rd.
I'll see if I can get there. Yeah. Ed, what about
That
you?
means no.
Yeah, exactly.
June 27th, I'll be doing a 4th of July special on the Alpha Male Show. Everybody tune in. We're going to, I don't know what we're going to do, but should be disastrous.
Oh, wow. Paul?
Paul is
What
going to
did
be
I do?
watching the
Oh,
Yankee game.
TonyTornado.com.
The tornado,
He'll be watching the Yankee game. No.
No, that game's over. They won.
Over.
They won the bottom of the ninth, 7.
Who the hell's messenger keeps going
It's
on?
Carlos.
It's Carlos.
My sound is
He's
off.
very
Everybody looks at
fast.
their phone when it goes off.
Just for me, I'm doing mostly private parties for a little while, but just go to comedytornado.com, go to the tour date page.
And
last but
I'll
not
be
least,
at my son's graduation. He's
Friday,
going to be going to middle
JoJo.
school. Oh my God! And unfortunately, we also have a wake. So
How is that a plug?
to attend to. It's
Yeah.
a plug because I'm
Everybody's gonna be there.
She's performing at the wake.
Last week,
you are?
Last week, my plug was I'll be at poolside. Like, where were you?
What
You
about
don't
your-
watch the show?
What about
Like,
your?
oh my God.
What about your makeup-y stuff?
Oh my God, I do makeup all the time. Come over.
And
I'll
jewelry?
Make you up.
So what's
I
your-
have
Jewelry by
airbrushing
Gisela?
now.
So you went to a pool last week. You're going to a wake this week.
How do I plug
Yeah.
your website more than you do?
Either way,
Because you love me more.
either way, Gisela, you're in deep.
I'm way in deep. All the way.
All right. I want to thank Andrew and congratulations to him.
I have to give you the words too. Don't forget.
Yes, 1 second.
Exactly.
Dave, I want you to have a safe trip with the goddamn intern.
The
and,
goddamn intern.
Paul, thank
Maybe
you
we'll
for
find a
sitting in
flush
tonight.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I know you're
Maybe you
always
get shot
busy
like Katie Style.
doing the mics, but you know you were welcome to come anytime. And thanks
I don't do
to
mics.
Gene-
I do real shows now.
Thanks to Gene for not screwing up so bad tonight. And we'll see you. Paul, what's the word?
The words tonight:
Cacophony.
hiatus, proxy, idyllic memory, prevalent, and the famous cacophony.
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 There you go. All right, everybody. We'll see
A
you
string
all
of
next week.
polyphonies.
We'll see you all next week. This is the Animal House Radio Show. I like that. We should do it every week.
Not for
I
nothing.
do.
Those station IDs were really good.
Yeah, right.
Oh, they were amazing.
All right.
He was better than John DeMatt.